Alright, hero time. Almost. Time to go to the Pokemon League. Almost. In a little bit. Gotta leave this gym first, of course. 8 badges down. No more to go. Red Deer the Cobalion, Steinbach the Swanna, Toronto the Superior, Charlottetown the Crocodile, Moncton the Archeops, and Moosejaw the Chandelure. Looking like a strong group. Convenient little portal, warp pad, I suppose, not portal. Convenient little warp pad, teleport pad, whatever you want to call it. Take me to the exit where I can run into Professor Juniper. Hello, was Drayden as tough as ever? Oh, I came to report on how to resurrect the legendary Reshiram. Okay, good, I could use that information. Getsus thinks I can't do it. I thought it would be better to tell you in person than over the cross transceiver. As for the conclusion, well, I haven't figured it out yet. Oops. I'm sure the Pokemon will wake up when it deems someone worthy. More importantly, aren't you amazing? You have all 8 of Unova's gym badges now, right? You've become so strong. You probably don't even know it, but you've changed a lot since you left Unova Town. You know, kind of fair. It's been a journey, huh? Well then, I'll show you where such a strong trainer should head next. This series specifically has had a little bit of an off-camera journey. It's been addressed elsewhere. There have been some real ups and downs. But I've had a lot of fun with it. Am having a lot of fun with it. Not done yet, of course. Quite a ways to go still, actually. Pass through that gate, go down Route 10, and you'll arrive at the badge check gates. Once you get through Victory Road, which is past the gates, you're finally at the Pokemon League. Oh, that just made me think of when I was showing you around the Pokemon Center in Accumula Town. Black, do you regret setting out on your Pokemon journey? It is fascinating that a game asks this. Part of me wants to say yes and see what she says. But I don't have it in me. My heart says no. Thanks, that's the greatest answer you could give. I was really happy to be able to give you 3 of those Pokemon as a present. Because Pokemon create chances to meet more wonderful people in Pokemon. Black, this is a present for you. Master Ball? I have a suspicion that, as to what I'll be doing with that, but we'll see. This Master Ball is the most powerful kind of Pokeball. It can catch any Pokemon without fail. This is the only way I can support you, except to say, be true to yourself. No matter what happens, stay strong and keep going with your Pokemon. See you. Okay. I was gonna make fun of her a little bit. Because she's like, oh, I have an update for you. Very important. But I can't tell you over the cross transceiver. It has to be in person. And then the update is, I don't have an update. I don't know the answer yet. She could definitely tell me, you know, that could have been an email or a cross transceiver call, but it's pretty clear that really she just wants to show up in person at this critical stage of my journey to convey some supportive words, check in on how I'm doing. Sort of be there as a support as I head off to this big final conflict, which is nice, right? I think so. Also, that little bit more exploration of the relationship between people and Pokemon. Having Pokemon opens up the world so we can go meet other people in Pokemon, build more relationships. That's good, right? This is a region, I was thinking about the other day, this region has a lot of different sort of siloed off communities. And a lot of the beauty of the region is how they come together into a cohesive, but also kind of patchwork whole. Like, it's funny, it makes me think a little bit of Canada instead of the place that it's based on, which is, well, it's based on New York. I think this works for New York, too. In Canada, at least when I was growing up, we talk about a multicultural mosaic. That is, people come here, they bring a little bit of where they come from with them, they bring a little bit of their own culture. Instead of hard assimilating people into one shared culture, you know, some of that happens too, organically, but people bring bits and pieces of their own cultures and we build them into a colorful patchwork together. It makes life a little bit more interesting for all of us. At least that's how I see it. And that really shines, that sort of world really shines in the Unova region. And if you're going to explore that, you got to go on a journey. It can help you experience a lot of different perspectives on the region, a lot of different parts of it, and learn things about yourself along the way. That's what Bianca's doing. That's why she had to, and did eventually, convince her father to let her continue the journey. That's what Sharon is starting to open himself up to after growing up in a small town and heading out there thinking he knew what was what. The player character as a silent protagonist doesn't quite get the same kind of exploration. And of course, I talked about last time, N is very like Charon in that way, even though he comes at things from a very different perspective. I opened up the party because I wanted to figure out what Pokemon I want in the lead right now. Also, where... Am I using an experience share right now? Bright Powder, Lucky Egg, Miracle Seed... Yeah, it's on Charlottetown. Okay. I'm good with that if I put Toronto in front of the party, because Toronto's lagging behind a little bit. Where's Moncton at? 2 levels higher than Toronto? Yeah, okay. We'll do that. I do want to check what these NPCs are saying, because it's probably not the same stuff about Gessis anymore. Okay, I guess they are saying the same stuff. Thing about the Pokemon being a perfect being, pretty on the nose. One of these houses, I don't remember which one, there was that guy who wanted to get a Pokemon from White version, it was strongly implied, to reach back in time and consider his past mistakes. I did look it up. It is his father that he refers to. It is that father who appears in White, looking to connect with the future and see, I think, what kind of person his son turns into, what he does, something like that. It's been a few days since I looked it up. Whereas in this one, we saw the son clearly has made some mistakes in his life. It's implied that he's had some conflict with his father that he regrets, and he wants to look back. So there's a nice little implied story there, using the device of the versions as parallel worlds. I am going to the Two Blind Bridge now because I am playing on a weekend evening. Hopefully whatever this is not just a post-game thing or something like that. There was that reference to people gathering in the evenings on weekends, and that's why I'm playing now, and no sooner. Bridge looks kind of empty, huh? Where is everyone? There's that one person. Alright, we can check back in later. Just to be sure. Maybe when I get to the league, or if I double back on my way there to heal, I can fly over and see if there's anything different. Because I didn't check my time of day stuff. It's very much what I would call evening in real life. And you can see the sun is setting in-game, but maybe I need it to be dark. Or maybe whatever this is just a post-game thing, if it's anything at all. I do vaguely remember a scene where, like, a group of bikers takes over the Two Blind Bridge. I think they're called Black Empoleon. If I had to guess, before that dialogue, I would have said that... I would have guessed that was only a Black 2, White 2 thing. But maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I feel like they wouldn't say specifically evenings on weekends if there were nothing going on, though. Like, I think there probably is something. You know? Hi, trainer. Do you have a minute? I just heard this on the cross transceiver. There's a big storm on Route 7, and the storm seems to be different from a natural phenomenon. So strange. Ooh. Victory Road stands in the way of a challenge to the Pokemon League. You need to have serious skills to get through it, okay? Trembling for the Pokemon League is a tremor of excitement. Okay, what do we got on the news report here? Riffvale Market, just an ad. Feels a little weird to me that... Oh, it's just a weather report for the immediate area. It's still always a little bit weird to me that the screen leaks what day I'm recording. But, it's gotten over it, more or less. Okay, this is not going to show me what I'm looking for, but we can go see it ourselves. I actually thought that was a post-game thing. I didn't remember it was this early. But that storm sounds pretty serious, huh? I was prepared to do this in the post-game. Did not remember. It was actually earlier than that. But I think it's a worthwhile distraction from pressing on to the league. And it doesn't take very long. I mean, look at that storm. That's pretty serious. Look at that rain pouring down. That is... Oh my god, I can't even see the walkway. I can, just barely, but... This sure is a lot. Heavy wind, too. My, that Pokemon has come again, too. She knows what's going on. A Pokemon did this? Now, child, don't you go heading into the tall grass. That Pokemon might be too much for you. We'll catch cold standing around talking in this wind and rain. It's not much, but come stay in my home a spell. Alright. That is some serious wind and rain. They did a good job there. Game Freak did. Even a young'un like yourself will catch cold if you get soaked by that cold rain. Sit right down and have some soup, why don't you? Okay, that's nice. A good young'un... Or, sorry, it didn't say good. That's nice. A young'un like you shouldn't be shy. I wonder what would happen if I said no. Would she just insist? I should have checked. In the Unova region, you see, there's a Pokemon called Tornadus that causes windstorms. It flies around the region while letting loose wild winds and pounding rain. Have some soup now, dear. It'll warm you up. I must be happy. Yeah. A musical note. And then a soup jam-packed with healthy vegetables. It's delicious. See, this was worth the trip. This is worth interrupting. I'm gonna need to be well-fed when I go fight N, right? Gotta have that soup. The heavy rain is ruining the crops I've worked so hard to raise. What a troublesome Pokemon. Yeah, if only there were another legendary that, you know, is good for crops and also keeps this one in check. I thought I would try to catch it, but it flies around so fast that even when I thought I'd found it, it just flew away. Obviously, I was alluding to Landorus there, and you actually can catch Landorus in this game, but I don't think I ever have. If I did a long time ago, I forgot, because you need Tornadus and Thundurus to encounter Landorus. Tornadus is black exclusive, Thundurus is white exclusive. And that is Landorus' only appearance in Gen 5. I don't think you can catch any of the three in Black and White 2. There's whatever the Dream Radar thing was that gets you the Therian forms, but I never did that either, so... I don't think I ever actually had a Landorus in Gen 5, back when that was current gen. So it might as well not exist, I guess, huh? In one day, it can make a lap around the entire Unova region. In the mornings, it's in the south, and in the evenings, it's in the north. It shows up here in the evenings. Well, it is evening right now, isn't it? See, she agrees. She knows it's evening. Maybe some people at Two Blind Bridge don't. Do these people say anything about Tornadus, or just their usual stuff? It's just, okay, this is just another heal. Well, a heal. I guess the soup didn't necessarily heal me. The electric bulletin boards will tell you the wind is blowing fiercely somewhere. The soup definitely healed my soul, though, right? Okay, so that's it. That's about Tornadus. Ah, okay. Way back when you were fine-looking people. Right around here, a certain Pokemon taught a lesson to Tornadus who had been causing trouble brewing storms. For around 30 years after that, Tornadus kept calm, and it hid somewhere around here. Ah, so that's why Tornadus first surfaces here. But why now, I wonder? Because it knows Landorus has gone away? Because that's what he's referring to, of course, Landorus. So that's why it first appears, because it's just become active again, I see. Didn't actually realize that. Good thing the storm is cleared now. Oh, what was that cry? Talked over it. And look who it is. And the storms are back on. So much for taking shelter. Good thing I ate that soup. This is, of course, the first pure flying-type Pokemon in the entire series, all the way in Generation 5. I find the flying type kind of interesting to think about, because up to this point in the series, it was only ever a secondary type. Never a primary type, never a soul type. Secondary only. Which felt intentional, but also kind of odd. Although, because it felt intentional, I don't know, I've always felt a little odd about them moving away from it. My strong suspicion, based on a lot of clues that come up in the early parts of the games, is that flying was originally intended to be... Well, I think originally it was probably a bird type, right? Because if you encounter Missing No, if you catch Missing No in Generation 1, its type combination is water and bird. So, I don't think the word bird was pulled from thin air in that glitch. I think there's probably... I don't know how this stuff works technically at all, but there's probably some trace left over of a bird type in development in the game. And in Generation 1, flying type moves are pretty much all about bird anatomy, like peck, wing attack. I guess bird behavior as well, like mirror move, I think is meant to refer to a parrot mimicking. So, in the same way that there's a bug type, all about the properties of insects, it seems like there probably was a bird type in development, and then I think probably they expanded it to flying, so that things like Charizard, Butterfree, Scyther, well, you get the gist, other flying creatures would be included as well. But still, very much the move lists and whatnot were about flying creature anatomy. Moves like Gust and Whirlwind, not flying type in Gen 1. Gust became flying type in Gen 2. Razor Wind, still a normal type move, like Gust was in Gen 1. It's only in Gen 2 that I think flying also became the air type. You know, the equivalent of an air type. But it's very much just if a thing has wings and it flies, it's a flying type. Not wings, not even necessary. See Gyarados and Dodrio back then. And so I guess the reason there was no pure flying type was probably just like, okay, a creature flies, but that's, you know, that's a thing that it does. That's not its entire essence. What else is there to be said about it? If there's not much else, normal and flying, like Pidgeotto. Maybe it's a bug and it flies, Butterfree. Maybe it breathes fire and flies, Charizard, right? And so if they were finally, after years of that pattern, going to create a pure flying type Pokemon, this basically wind god creature, right? Like that's what Tornadus is based on at the most simple level here in Generation 5, here in Black and White specifically, before it gets some other layers of inspiration piled onto it in Black and White 2, and then in Legends Arceus. At the very simplest level, it's a wind god design, right? Drawing, I think, from Shinto inspirations. So I think it's kind of neat when they had that pattern for 4 whole generations, almost 5, all of Gen 5 except Tornadus, of flying, never being a soul type and never even a primary type, and always just an add-on because I guess this is what this Pokemon does, except then it also expanded to become the air type over time. It's neat that the very first pure flying type Pokemon was something kind of special, and that it had like a very strong thematic reason to break that pattern. You might never care about that pattern in the first place. To me, it was something that stood out to me playing the games as a kid, so I like that when they broke it, it kind of felt earned. Maybe that's just how my brain works, but that meant something to me, you know? Anyway, whoa. It says Tornadus, and then... Woo, what a storm. Apparently it's that Pokemon's doing. I guess I was saying that. Wait, I was not a silent protagonist for a second there. I guess that's my inner thoughts. It's not the same thing as dialogue, but... Wait, I had opinions in this interaction. Actually, the soup too, right? The soup was delicious. My character expressed visible pleasure at eating it. And then, woo, what a storm. That's kind of an opinion, right? I was impressed. Kind of awestruck. Wait a minute, we stepped away from the silent protagonist a little bit. First pure flying type Pokemon. Gotta make it an event, I guess. They delivered in more ways than I realized. Anyway, I kind of want to catch Tornadus. But I'm not sure. Like, I kind of like to train Tornadus. Tornadus is a neat Pokemon, like I just said. But I'm not sure what I would drop from my team for it. Like, I could drop Steinbach the Swanna, but that's my only water type and surf user. Which is why it's lasted this long on the team. I'm gonna leave that open-ended for now. I'll think about it. For now, let's just fly back to Opelucid City and actually make progress toward the Pokemon League. Maybe I'll catch Tornadus in the post-game, which is what I thought I would have the option to do anyway, because I forgot that you can do that before the post-game. Anyway, if I do catch it, that's what the Master Ball is for, because it's the only roaming legendary in this game. Reshiram is plenty easy to catch anyway. I guess I can take a shot at Terrakion in this episode. Oh, I didn't see where that is. I forgot it would be announced at the beginning. That's fine. I'll decide later whether I want Tornadus, unless the storm happens to be here, which it isn't. I forgot to talk to the Ace trainers in the gate, though. Got so distracted by Tornadus. Should I catch Tornadus? The trembling before the Pokemon League is a tremor of excitement. Victory Road stands in the way of a challenge to the Pokemon League. You need to have some serious skills to get through it. Can I find out where the storm is? I think I want to catch Tornadus, folks. Route 8. Route 8. That is on the other side of the Two-Blind Bridge. Do I want to... I don't know. I think I want to catch Tornadus. That leaves open the question of whether I want to train it. I feel like the Swanna slot is the only one in my party that I'm very sort of easily able to change. I could drop Red Deer and still only carry one legendary, but what do I want to do that for? Probably getting at least one more legendary in this episode anyway. I could drop my Archeops. What has been so good? I guess changing one broken flying type out for another wouldn't be the worst thing, but I don't know. And Tornadus, of course, wouldn't mind holding an item. I think it's at level 40, and Toronto the Superior is at level 40 and is at the front of my party right now, so I should be able to just use a Repel to encounter it. And it can happen on the puddle, I was wondering about that. I think I'm talking myself into dropping Moncton for Tornadus. I don't know, I'm gonna see its moves and stuff, but anyway, here it is. Does that design not scream? Of course, the first pure flying type in the entire game, all the way in Generation 5, was going to look like this. Nice battle music, too. Don't want to cut it too short, but I am going to throw the Master Ball in a moment. Let's let it get to the good part. It's kind of intense there, it really fits a Pokemon like this. It looks kind of intense and flies around creating windstorms. Anyway, Master Ball away. I forgot just how many legendaries I could encounter in this episode. It's been a little while since, you know, the first 2 legendary encounters in the same episode. Not crazy long, I guess, but a little while. The lower half of its body is wrapped in a cloud of energy. It zooms through the sky at 200 miles per hour. That is, I assume, extremely fast, because that would be crazy fast in kilometers per hour. And I think it's crazier fast in miles per hour, correct? Anyway. I'm at least going to take a look in the PC and see what I think about. It's taking a little extra long because I changed cases a couple times. Also, I almost had a grammatical error in the name. There we go. St. John's, the Tornadus. Then I can see about actually making progress toward the league. I was really thinking about skipping Tornadus for now, but I was just so conflicted. I just kept going back and checking where, trying to check its location. I think it's pretty clear in the end what the right call was. And again, only one of its trio that I can get in this game. By itself, Revenge, Air Cutter, Extrasensory, and Agility. I think I am going to... I think I'm going to drop Moncton the Archeops from the team. For St. John's the Tornadus. It's tough. It's always tough this far into the game. I've been carrying that Archeops for quite a while. I'd kind of rather drop Steinbach the Swanna, but probably a good idea to keep Surf on my team. Alright, let's see what kind of TMs I can use here. Hyper Beam could be funny. Oh, I bought Hyper Beam so I could teach it to Reshiram, right? Let's keep that in mind. Try not to forget. Can Tornadus learn Shadow Ball? No. Probably Brick Break, right? And I'd probably rather have that than Revenge. Yep. Cobalion can't learn Brick Break? Huh. Sludge Bomb. I think it can learn Sludge Bomb, right? Not great in this game, there are no fairy types, but I'd probably rather have that than Brick Break. I'd certainly rather have it than Agility. So that's what I'll delete. I think I'd rather have Focus Blast than Brick Break. Maybe I'll come to regret that one because, you know. But we can go big with that. Just try to land our hits. Alright. Gambling with Focus Blast makes me feel a lot better, actually, about adding Tornadus to the team. That's going to be fun. And no longer do I have a Pokemon on the team, the main team, that I want to not have an item. So, in fact, I'm going to give the experience share to St. John's for now. Currently tied for lowest level on the team with Toronto, the superior. And that frees Charlottetown to hold a new item. I surely have something good. Surely. Or I could give a sharp beak to St. John's. Shell Bell's alright. Expert Belt's alright. Black Glasses? Black Glasses might be the answer. I'll go with Black Glasses. Get some sunglasses to the crocodile. That seems like a good idea. Alright, let's go. It's the first pure flying type in the whole game. I think I gotta try it out, right? Gotta give it a showcase here. And did I talk to the Ace trainers yet? I don't even remember now. And like I said, I can gamble with Focus Blast and Hurricane eventually, maybe. I definitely talked to that guy already. Alright, yeah, I did. I was too distracted by Tornadus. Well, I think I followed my heart on this one. I haven't gotten my Route 10 encounter yet, but let's battle this trainer first. There's no end to mastering Pokemon battles. I am just starting on Route 10, almost 30 minutes into the episode. I'll be honest, I didn't see that coming. So if you didn't either... Oh, I forgot I have Aerial Ace on my superior. If you didn't see it coming either, don't worry, it's not just you. That did about the same damage as Leaf Blade, actually. That's not very useful. Leaf Blade has the higher crit rate, too. That's a crit, though. We take those. Now let's get my Route 10 encounter. Then I can use Repel. At least one of these item balls is an Amoonguss, but I don't remember which. Oh, I have a Repel active right now, don't I? It's inefficient, but whatever. I have more Repels in the bag than I'll ever use. That's not a bad encounter. I guess it would be a little bit safer to switch out to Moose Jaw and Will-O-Wisp, but if I have to go back and heal now, not the end of the world. But let's just start throwing balls. I need to buy some more Ultra Balls. Almost. Karate Chop, please don't crit. Didn't need to. Well, that's okay. I can double back and buy more Ultra Balls. Show off the new member. Yeah, I gotta train that, right? I guess I could also burn it, but then the damage heads up more quickly. I don't know if it's worth it. Three shakes on the first one, but not going so well. Oh my god, that hits so hard. No wonder Toronto couldn't take one of those at fairly low HP. This sock is putting up a lot of resistance. Might fail to catch it. That would be unfortunate. Three shakes again, but still not there. There we go. Caught a sock. Could have been useful way earlier in the playthrough, not adding it to the team now. Cool Pokemon to catch though, all the same. The sound of sock punching boulders and trees can be heard all the way from the mountains where they train. Guess we are getting into the mountains now, aren't we? Victory Road is going to be all about climbing a mountain. Cool Victory Road design, but we'll talk about that when we come to it, I guess. In the meantime, let's name this Gander, send it to the PC. I'll check the item balls. This one's an Amoonguss, and then I'll go heal. I'll buy more Ultra Balls. Oh, it's a Foongus. Maybe Amoonguss are only in the dark grass here. I don't remember. If it weren't for Surf, I would not have been carrying a Swanna all this time. But, you know, I guess it's not the worst thing that the game pushes me into a choice that's a little outside my usual patterns like that. Swanna's not a bad Pokemon. It's just, you know, if I were doing the favorite Pokemon picker and it were Swanna versus Archeops, or Swanna versus Tornadus, or Swanna, I don't know what else, you get the idea. Yeah, just Fungus. No Amoonguss yet. I think they're in the dark grass on this route. Anyway, to avoid encounters, I'm just gonna fly to the Pokemon Center. Also speeds things up a tiny bit, I guess. And you know what? The sun's down. I can go check Two Blind Bridge. You know, say what you want. I've made a little bit of progress toward Victory Road, and if you're this far in, you know what kind of series this is. So what would you want to say? Oh, I haven't had this blood orange iced tea in a while. That first sip was really good. I'll go back up to 50 Ultra Balls. That ought to be plenty, even with a Victory Road encounter, that ought to be plenty for one shot at Terrakion. And then easy to catch by design because the story demands that you catch it Reshiram. At least Route 9 is nice and short, huh? Forgot the perspective change wasn't kicking in yet. There it is. Nothing. Did I misremember that line? Or is it a post-game thing? Or is it not a thing at all? Who was it that said it to me? Some NPC. Somewhere around here. least we get to watch the subway trains go by. Did I make up whatever I'm talking about here? Well, question for another time. Did I invent a memory? Did I hallucinate some dialogue? Or, you know, any other plausible explanations that I threw out there? Is it one of those? Let's finally go to Victory Road. This music here on Route 10, fitting for, you know, the last route before the League. Something over there. This actually looks like a spot that Alder would drop down from, but barring that, I thought maybe hidden item. And maybe there was, I didn't check everywhere. I've survived a lot of fierce battles with my Pokemon. I don't think I will lose. See, now we're getting into the ace trainers whose defeats will rock the region, right? Or at least somewhat closer. I should be able to set up some coils on this. Could have Dragon Dance, actually, but we'll see. Oh. Well, I called it, didn't I? I guess I'll just switch out to Red Deer. I've talked up Superior. I do enjoy using Superior in-game in Black and White. But I won't deny that it has some of the classic grass starter problem. Especially when things like Fracture get more common along here. I just think Leech Seed, Coil, and eventually Giga Drain gives it enough tools to fight back a lot of the time, but it probably is the weakest starter for just playing through the game. I also just cope a little bit because I love its design, but I don't think that was ever unclear, right? It is my favorite fully evolved starter design in the series. I think I'm pretty open about that. I have a whole video about taking my favorite starter to a regional. Anyway, there goes the Fracture. That damage was all it managed with those 2 Dragon Dances. Electric. Whoa. Uh-oh. Oh, the bright powder kicks in again. That's good. Wouldn't want to get paralyzed by that discharge. Bright Powder Cobalion actually kind of broken in-game, huh? Because the Steel typing is already so useful defensively. The Fighting typing has some utility as well. And then on top of all that, the opponent might just not get to attack sometimes. Wait, did it just use me first? Oh, I should switch to Flash Cannon so it can't flinch me. Didn't flinch me this time anyway. I'm gonna just X-Scissor at this point to get the KO. It'll use Stab X-Scissor back. Oh no, but it's into a double resistance. And it could miss with Bright Powder anyway. That actually did a fair bit. Oh, it's crit. Okay. Crit into a double resistance. You know, I've talked up Tornadus as the first pure flying type in the game. It is worth acknowledging, of course, that Cobalion and the other 2 in its trio were the first fighting type legendaries in the series. Game Freak showed a lot of love to the fighting type in Gen 5. And those 3 in particular. And Keldeo is a fighting type mythical related to them. I'm the best around here. Can you possibly be a match for me? Do we believe that she's the best around here? Let's see. 3 Pokemon, not bad. Anyway, yeah, credit while we're at it to the first 3 fighting type legendaries. Very cool takes on what fighting type legendaries could be for the first ones in the series. An at the time exclusive fighting type attack in Sacred Sword. Very fighting type appropriate role in the story. Well, I mean, again, they do show up in the story in Black and White too. I guess I could say more in the lore, but it ties into the story very directly, actually. The themes are pretty clear, and then, again, they actually make minor appearances in the story in Black and White too. Which is not my favorite thing gameplay-wise. because I like having to go to obscure places to look for legendaries. A little bit underwhelming gameplay when they just show up in my path, so I have the opportunity to catch them. But it does tie them more directly into the story when the thematic connection was already there. So that much is nice. Oh, wow. Speaking of just being a menace, firing off hyper beams. And that Cryogonal outsped Red Deer, and Red Deer is taking a fair bit of damage at this point for all my talk about how amazing a steel and fighting type is. I'm gonna go back. Toronto's poisoned. I'm gonna stay in. I think I can at least beat this Alomomola before Red Deer's in trouble. Well, that didn't do very much. You know what? I'll go Steinback, actually. I was gonna say I'll give this one to St. John's. I'll go Steinback to resist the dive. Bitchin'. Not that it matters that much, but... you know. Might as well make the slightly smarter play. Go for a special attack, see what kind of damage that does. Certainly more. And even with the Aqua Ring recovery, next Air Slash should KO if it connects. Swanna, again, feels like kind of the, well, the ugly duckling, if you will, of this team for me, because it's just a Pokemon that wouldn't still be here if it didn't have useful HMs. But nice to see it put in some work all the same. I'm not trying to hate on Swanna or anything. Just saying my team choice has been influenced a little bit there. It's not a bad thing, although I do like that the demise of HMs in newer games means that you don't ever have to face that kind of team choice anymore. It feels a little bit like a constraint on your... what's normally a selling point of the series, your freedom to choose whatever Pokemon you want. When, in practical terms, you're going to want to consider some HMs a lot of the time. My heart is not broken. I will survive further fierce battles with my Pokemon, and I will become much stronger. In fact, I just realized I'm going to want Strength in Victory Road, so I'll have to make one more trick? I'll have to make one more trip back to Opaloosa City to swap somebody out for a Strength user. Perhaps Secret of your Strength is your commitment. Anyway, nice scenic bridge for nice scenic rival battles. Let's go. Stop! Black! I thought Charon went on ahead. Didn't he say he was going to go help Alder or something? Great, and Professor Juniper told me. You're heading for the Pokemon League, right? Yes. Since it's Alder, since it's the champion, I think it will be alright. Worst case scenario, you'll be battling Team Plasma's boss, N. I need to know if you can handle it. Alright. That's fair. Nice scenic bridge for a nice scenic rival battle, but also a decent justification for it. Although Charon has never beaten me yet. Not sure what he's evaluating here. Just saying. I would like to switch directly out to Red Deer, but Red Deer is actually pretty low. Let's go Charlottetown. I can Intimidate and Rock Slide. Get taunted, that's fine. I think I only have attacks. It's in-game. Kind of how it goes. A lot of the time. See, there's Razor Wind, not a flying type attack. Debuted in Gen 1 as a normal type attack, and Gust was changed to flying in Gen 2, but Razor Wind was not. Kind of an obscure attack, though. Don't see it too often in any game. I definitely thought it was a Gen 3 move, because the first thing I ever saw use it was an Absol in, I don't know, Ruby, Sapphire, or Emerald. I found out later it was a Gen 1 move. I don't even know what learns it in that game. Those games. Anyway, time for a proper St. John's battling debut. Oh, nice quick seed bomb animation with nice impact noises. I'm pretty consistently loving the move animations in this game, aren't I? I mean, not that I haven't seen them before, but you know, as I go through them here and play with my brain switched on. St. John's loses to Charon's Simisage. Can't say I saw that one coming. But here's someone who probably won't. At Lear, though, who knows what that's setting up for? I mean... No, Bianca is Samurott, Cheren is Zembor. This is other Pokemon. Oh yeah, that. Yeah, that could benefit from the Lear. Probably has a physical dark type attack to throw at me. I'm gonna switch out to Charlottetown despite being somewhat... Red Deer, despite being somewhat low on HP. Get taunted again. They're loving taunt this episode for some reason. NPCs just can't get enough of clicking taunt. Oh, and you know what's a good answer to Cheren's Emboar? You know what Pokemon is just about right to counter an Emboar on my team? I mean, probably my Chandelure. There is that, but I think you know what I'm referring to. He just said something about putting all his energy into him and his Pokemon, putting all their energy into the battle. They're on the same page, I guess. Good human-Pokemon relationship there. Zembor tries to cook my Swanna with a flamethrower. It's not very effective. I think I'm just consistently liking... I mean, the sound is a big part of it, but also the way some of the move animations, like that surf, really seem to kind of rattle the Pokemon. Like, you can see that there's force being thrown at them, you know? It's not just a little bit of water splashing on it. There's an impact there. Anyway, there goes Emboar. Does Bianca also battle me here? I don't remember. I'm surprised at how much I've forgotten about this game. I guess I haven't played through it in a while. Yep, you are something else, and I mean that sincerely. Right, now I have to make your Pokemon healthy. Okay, he healed them, that's good. They're a little weakened. Right now, there's no way I can compete with you, Black. If there is anything I can do to help in the battle with N, just say so. Black. Not much I can do to help you, but I want you to have these. Okay, Max Revives, nice, useful. This hasn't been a Nuzlocke in a long time, so Max Revives are useful. Still, it's kind of funny. Everyone's so different. Funny? At a time like this? Come on, Cheren. Could you smile just for once? Taking everything so seriously all the time isn't going to change anything. You know, since we've met our Pokemon and walked the same roads together, a lot has happened. We've all changed a lot. We found out that the things we want to do and the things we can do are different for each of us, right? That's what's made our journey so worth it. Somehow, all this just makes me happy. So that's what you mean. You are right that we're all different and we should do the things that we can do. There are as many truths and ideals as there are people in Pokemon. The most important thing is that we help each other out. That's why people in Pokemon are always by each other's side. That's what I've come to think lately. Black, if anything happens to you or Alder, I will do everything I can to help you. That's why I have to keep training and getting stronger. Just don't be reckless, okay? He's gone. Black, me too. I'll do my best to help if I can. So, I wish I could say something like totally inspiring, you know? Okay. Best foot forward. Here's the thing, Bianca. It's the effort that counts there. She's not the best with words, but the effort is what's important. You know the sentiment behind it is real. Yeah, so there's Bianca pretty much stating some of the themes of the game and her journey. Summing things up nicely. Also, pointing out what a nice little journey it is and what a funny little moment it is with all of us coming together, showing how we've grown, even as things get very serious. Even Cheren came to appreciate her perspective on that one. And Cheren, Mr. I want to be strong for its own sake, finally finding something to try to be strong for. Both of them lampshading some of the themes of the game very nicely there. Some of the games of the theme. See, there's an Amoonguss. And I like that line, there is many truths and ideals, as there are people in Pokemon. And all we can do is work together. You know, whatever exactly he said. All we can do is work together and help each other. That rings very true for me, you know? There's an item. Also, I think it's time to fight this black belt. I've already fought the strongest trainer around here, so shouldn't be much of a challenge. Mwahaha! I will leave here for Victory Road. It's my hobby to win against trainers. Who talks like that? Much as I'm praising the beauty of the Unova region, there are a lot of weird people here. It's my hobby to win against trainers. Who says that? Alright. My hobby is to be successful in everything I do. That's a lie. My hobby is to win VGC games, and my other hobby is to lose VGC games. I guess I could have just started going for Aerial Ace right away instead of missing a Leech Seed and landing another one. Sock can have Sturdy, but it's not like Aerial Ace is going to one-shot anyway, right? And meanwhile, it's setting up with Bulk Up, and it's his only Pokemon. Do I want to set up on this? I don't think so. Let's just see what an Aerial Ace does now. And not a whole lot. Maybe the Leech Seed will come in handy. Maybe I should be going for Leaf Blade crit. That's probably next. Get that higher crit rate than Aerial Ace. I'll do that next. Aerial Ace, I had forgotten that Superior can learn it. Seemed like kind of a neat thing to discover again there, but that has not held up long. It's really not very worth it, huh? Oh well. I guess the real thing is, like, it gives me something to hit a fire type. Or, I guess, if I ever need to for some reason. Or I guess the real thing is another grass type or a bug type. That's where it makes a big difference over Leaf Blade. Anyway, Toronto's been knocked to low HP again. Not really a great Superior showcase. I do enjoy using it in-game, but it doesn't have as smooth a time as the other two. Can't deny that. Rather than enjoy defeating someone, should I aim higher? I guess the Pokemon League is the place to find a better class of challengers. There we go. Your hobby can be beating the Pokemon League. That sounds good. Victory Road. I'll test myself by fighting against it. Fighting against you to see if I'm ready to climb it. Alright, Brett. Girder. I'll try to set up on that. It probably will knock Toronto out first, but if not, good chance for some Leech Seed recovery. And he does have a second Pokemon, so the setup's a little more worth it. Feels a little more worth it, at least. Probably not going to work out, though. Oh, well, if he misses his Dynamic Punches, I'm good. If he lands his Dynamic Punches, not so good. We'll see what happens. Go for Coil here. Landing Dynamic Punch is, of course, a 50-50. Going for Chip Away now instead. Doesn't KO yet. Get a bit of Leech Seed recovery, and I can go to +2 with Coil now. Might want to try the Dynamic Punch again. Also guaranteed Confusion if it hits, which would be really annoying, but we'll see. He's bulking up alongside me. Okay. But every turn he bulks up is a turn he's not doing damage, and I'm ahead on setup, and I have the Leech Seed going. So that's fine, I think. See, back out of red again. And going to +3. Chip away. +1 and +3. Was that not a crit? What does Chip Away do? This seemed like it did more damage than it should have, considering the first roll. Does Chip Away have some hidden effect I'm not remembering? I don't know. But now I'm at +4, he's at +2. Get out of red again here. I'll keep going to +6, why not? See, this is what Superior can do. Sometimes. In this game. We've seen not always, but sometimes. Chip away. Crits. Okay. Well, that was what Superior can do for a little while there. Anyway. Look at that Master Ball fly. Kinda like the purple coloring of the Master Ball with the purple tail on Tornadus as well. Could use a stronger stab move than Air Slash, but worse. Air Slash would be good. Could use a stronger stab move than Air Cutter, but I'm sure that'll come. Boldor, I'm gonna extra sensory for the flinch chance because this is guaranteed to have sturdy in this game. That's why I'm not going Focus Blast immediately. And actually, extra sensory is a 2-hit KO. I don't have to gamble on a Focus Blast yet. But why'd I teach a Focus Blast if I'm not gonna gamble? Let's go. Landed the first one. Pretty decent animation. Looks like it has some impact to it. I continue to like the way these strong moves look in this game. Obviously, extra sensory was the smarter play there, but I went for a bit of showmanship. Victory Road, it really is amazing. That's the road to the Pokemon League. Thanks for the insight. You made it this far. Well done. That's an impressive accomplishment. To show the respect I feel for you, I would like to present you with this gift. A Dusk Stone? Okay. Don't really need another one, but that's nice. It's a Dusk Stone. This item makes certain Pokemon evolve. I used one to evolve a Lampent from the Celestial Tower. And there's another item over here. The Roar TM. Probably not using that, but I didn't remember what was there. I'll go heal my Superior. Hopefully that's not going to be happening all the time for the next little while. But also remember, I want to get a Strength user out of the PC, because I am going to want Strength in Victory Road. And that means I have to leave someone behind. I think it's going to be Moosejaw the Chandelure. I think you can probably guess why. We can talk about it later. There we go. This is I have 3 Boldore. This is the one that knows Strength. Montreal now on the team. Moosejaw temporarily in the PC. Gotta heal my Superior. And then we press on. Beat Charon. Did that already is what I mean. Back across the bridge. The last little bit of Route 10, and then the badge check gates, which are certainly interesting in this game. Maybe a little bit tedious going through them one by one like that. I don't think it's an accident that, as far as I can remember, Game Freak hasn't done it that way again, but they're a little bit interesting. They're very cool on a first playthrough, I'll say. Going one by one through them, with a little bit of flavor in each area. Maybe a little bit tedious after a first playthrough. Hey, my Pokemon are great. Look. I believe you. But okay, let's see. I don't think you get here. I don't think you get to this part of the region without great Pokemon. Sawsbuck, that is a great Pokemon. You know what? She's exactly right. See, this is what Aerial Ace is for as well. Great Pokemon, but not too difficult to beat. Especially if it spams that. Nice animation, but not a useful move right now. What else have you got? Sawsbuck was an excellent start. I really like Sawsbuck. But what's next? What's the other one? Jellicent? That's a pretty cool Pokemon too. Alright, you know what? Some of these NPCs, they say their Pokemon are great, and then they send out like 3 Herdier. Or a Patrat and a Pansear or something. This Ace Trainer was not very hard to beat, but I'd say even so, she backed her claim up. I am called an Ace Trainer, but that doesn't sit well with me, because I just love Pokemon and I just want to be strong. Ah, I like that. She just got really... She's like not dedicated to being the best trainer or anything. She just got good at it because she enjoys it so much. That's nice. So good at it that she's achieving recognition, but she's like, what? I'm just doing what I like. That's some really sweet characterization of this, you know, stray NPC that I'll probably never think about again after this video. Here's the last one before Victory Road. I've seen a lot of trainers. You seem to have the same aura that I felt from strong trainers. Okay, sure. I get that a lot. Beartic. Okay. Probably gonna want to switch out. I left my Chandelure in the PC, so Red Deer it is. Yeah, it was definitely interesting when there were not yet any fighting type legendaries to try to imagine. It's not a type that lends itself super easily to a legendary, right? Like, big, impressive fire creature, psychic type with mysterious metal powers, super rare bird, and that's enough to justify the flying type. Those ones come pretty easily. Dragon, obviously very easy type for legendaries. Fighting was a little harder to imagine, and they came up with some really neat creatures that don't fit the stereotypical image of a fighting type just being like a boxer or something. Fighting type designs in general have come a long way, obviously, from their origins in Gen 1. And Gen 5 stayed true to those origins with some designs like Manchao and Sock, which I caught in this episode. But also pushed boundaries a little bit with the 3 legendaries in a way that's still perfectly coherent and fits the overall character of the fighting type very nicely. They did a good job there. And again, overall, a generation that was very kind to fighting types, added a lot of good ones, including those legendaries. I left my fire type at the PC. What do I do? Let's go to this. Let's go to this. Might keep the experience share on St. John's for a while. I mean, we'll see. It's always a little weird when one Pokemon is really running away with the experience, but Air Cutter is really not cutting it as a stab right now, is it? I have no idea what level it learns Air Slash. Hurricane, I'm sure, is later than that, but just Air Slash would be a significant improvement. I joked earlier about how it was hard to fit on the team because I already had a broken... I'm just thinking about what to bring in. A broken flying type, but actually Tornadus not looking that broken so far. But should be able to get there. Guess I'll go back and heal one more time before badge check. Sometimes that's how it goes. You have abundant kindness as well as strength. Yeah, that's what the bell said. Open the gates and change history. I will. In just a moment, but this is a series where things take a bit of time. So, what can I say? These things happen. An hour just to get to the badge check, huh? Well, if you're watching this one by now, you know what this is. Alright, let me see this Tornadus. Look at these stats. Plus defense, minus speed, nature. Special attack is actually not that much higher than the attack. That probably says something about the IVs, although I think Tornadus is reasonable in both those stats. But I do expect it to have higher special attack. I have loaded up on special attacks accordingly. Not that there's really any particular physical attack I want anyway. I mean, I'm going to drop Focus Blast for Brick Break. Under different circumstances, maybe, but I've decided that Focus Blast is a fun content move, so no. Alright, badge check for real. Already a nice imposing gate to begin with. Plain area, not much music. Unqualified one shall not pass. Oh yeah, these guys saying the same stuff every time can get a little tedious too, but... a blank area, and then we start to get some representation of the gyms, and that's kind of neat, showing that, you know, a real physical representation of the journey that I've taken to get here. We got an area with grass, fire, and water all represented. We got plants, we got torches, we got a river. Got a nice pleasant vibe, kind of like the tea shop that the gym is located in. And we go through here. Is this still Route 10? Because there is tall grass here. It is still Route 10. Thought so. Music ramping up a little bit. This area is not that interesting. There's grass. There are hedges. What can I encounter here? Probably the same kinds of stuff as the rest of the route, right? But surely I can encounter things. Can I not? There we go. Yeah. Sock followed by. That'll be the same encounter table as the rest of the route. I was just wondering, because this is the normal gym part, whether it would be specifically normal types in here, but clearly not. That, like I said, doesn't fit the vibe of the gym that much. It's a little bit plain, but I guess a little bit plain is kind of fitting for the normal type. Although this particular game's normal gym is not really that way. Look at just a big insect. I mean, you can consider it an art installation for the artist gym leader who trains bug types, right? Now they get a little bit more visually interesting. Oh, and this guy's here. Gates are placed at the border of one another and another of one space and another space. In other words, gates mean that the world beyond here is a different world. It does feel like every time you pass through a gate, you're going to a different world. And you remember the gym leader who gave you the badge at the same time, but without the Quake badge, you cannot proceed. Okay, going to a little different world feels a little much, but hey. Maybe these badge check gates kind of work as a... Got some clay gems here. Gems that clay would be harvesting. As a reminder of the different... You know, the mosaic again. All the different patchwork parts of the beautiful whole of the region that I've traveled across to get here. Of course, there's still a large chunk of it that I haven't explored yet. That's for after this episode, but it's been pretty good already. The section representing Skyla is appropriately, absurdly dangerous looking. Not sure the physics of this even really hold up, but look at me go wee up and down. You know Skyla designed this herself. No question about it. I can't run here. I don't know if I've ever tried before. It cannot be done. Anyway. And the freeze badge. A little ice puzzle through here, no big deal. Not much of a puzzle. And then the legend badge, the last one. I do think these badge check gates are kind of cool, but they take a while. And I'm not shocked that they're condensed into a single gate again, as they were before, after this game. 2 dragons, just like the legend, and onward to one of the cooler Victory Road designs in the series. I don't know if like a Victory Road tier list. I don't know on what criteria I would rank this against the others and how it would compare. But the whole gimmick of climbing a mountain with indoor and outdoor portions along the way is a pretty cool concept. I enjoy it. It's a nice twist. After Victory Road was basically a cave. I mean, lots of Victory Roads, even earlier in the series, have some kind of twist to them along the way. But yeah, this mountain component, nice new flavor to it. And then, of course, Black and White 2 take a whole different approach to it. But gameplay-wise, I don't really have strong feelings about this Victory Road. Design-wise, it's really cool. Before going to the Pokemon League, let me test my skills, okay? And I do also like the Sinnoh Victory Road, so immediately before this one, where you're going through a cave, but there's one central area that you have to slowly progress through because the ledges block you. You have to go through a bunch of side passages and loop around some to make progress ultimately through the central area where both the entrance is and the exit is. You have to go to other areas. I guess you could say this Victory Road is a little bit like that, right? You start outdoors, and you go in, and ultimately the exit is back out, and you go in and out over time. It's kind of a similar design concept, but it is a little bit more visually interesting. And there's the added element of sliding down the slope, which I don't like as much, because it can make for some annoying backtracking. But I can definitely forgive that for the overall aesthetic of climbing the mountain. And obviously, climbing a mountain is also symbolically... I mean, the symbolism is pretty obvious for a Victory Road. But being obvious doesn't make it ineffective. Oh good, Tailwind's over. Kind of forgot about the Tailwind, to be honest. I was busy talking, not paying much attention. Got crit by the Stomp. Pretty sure the crit mattered. Goodbye, Toronto. I'm not going to go heal right now. It's Victory Road. There's a doctor somewhere along here anyway. But I'm not doubling back and healing like this in Victory Road. I want to just go in, run the gauntlet, you know? I guess I might as well move Charlottetown to the front of the party. There's been a bit of a jump, actually, in the level curve lately. I haven't really paid close attention or remarked on it. And I'm definitely not trying to make excuses for my Superior's performance, which has a lot to do with Superior's stats and move pool as well, but all of a sudden, Pokemon like Toronto and Charlottetown are kind of underleveled for the area. And it's not like they're crazy behind anyone else on the team. The Elite Four are said to be waiting at the Pokemon League. I wonder what kind of people they are. So yeah, maybe I should have paid closer attention. I'd have a better sense of what's going on, but definitely a bit of a jump in the level curve somewhere along here. Between late last episode and early this one. And we're outside. Go this way. Listen, you can slide down the cliffs here. Watch me. Now you try it. Aye! That's a long way down. I can't do it. That is fair. Takes some nerve the first time, but it's fun. Alright, ready? Let's just do it. 3, 2, 1, go! Now, I just used a repel without thinking. It didn't really cross my mind that I hadn't gotten my Victory Road encounter yet, but it's just as well because I think outdoors here is where you can catch Dino, so let's see if that's what I get. My Leech Seed user has fainted. Oh well, see what I can do. Could also be something like Heatmore or Durant. It's Heatmore. Alright, I'll try to catch it. Do I have a good way to weaken it? Well, we know that Aerial Ace is not a very strong attack. Anyway, I think this is the only area to catch Dino, so no Hydreigon for me in this playthrough, but like I grumbled about before, Dino is available so late and evolves so late that getting a Hydreigon before you finish the game is not very likely anyway. More likely to be stuck on its Vilus at the end of the series. And I already have a strong Dark type. Let's just as well. Now this might knock out Charlottetown before I can catch it. That would be unfortunate. Honestly, probably not worth it. But we'll do it anyway. Alright. Caught it just before Charlottetown went down. Charlottetown may yet get some experience before fainting. And there's a doctor in here somewhere. As for Heatmore, it breathes through the hole in its tail while it burns with an internal fire. And of course, Durant is its play. Its play? Its prey. Not catching a Durant though, because I got a Heatmore instead. Nickname for Heatmore, let's go with Cornerbrook. Oh, usually I don't say it before I've typed it in, but I was kind of thinking out loud there. I think that's going to run afoul of the... Yeah, you know what? Cornerbrook is over the character limit, but you know what's exactly at the character limit? I could abbreviate it a different way. I could do Seabrook, I could do Corner B. But you know what's exactly at the character limit here? That's right, Corner Bro. Corner Bro was sent to the PC. Now I kind of want to train Corner Bro, but I'm not making room on my team for that, sorry, bro. Little bits of water. Oh, well, I'm talking about the Victory Road design. Yeah, little bits of water to surf on. Go exploring, get items and stuff, but also, of course, strength boulders that can be pushed into place along the way, which is why I brought strength. I don't think strength is mandatory to clear this Victory Road. I know it is in Black 2 and White 2. I don't think it is in this game. I could be misremembering. But what you can do with strength is open up shortcuts for later, with a sort of cleaner, more linear path up the mountain. Now, I never really remember exactly what to do at this part. I'm going to go up first. Okay, there's just another exit there. Let's go this way first. There also was an ace trainer. I will, of course, fight him. Ah, this just leads me here. Okay. See, that's just a dead end. Well, basically equivalent to a dead end. Eh, it is just a dead end, yeah. I didn't have to loop around. I could double back. And that actually would have been more efficient, but oh well. Gotta go this way. Kind of figured up was the more likely way to progress, so in a playthrough like this, not the way I want to go first, right? Or in a first playthrough where I'm trying to explore, I would probably also go out before up there. Don't remember what I actually did, but knowing my instincts, probably that. An ace trainer like me has pride, so I won't lose. Oh, I've met some ace trainers with a lot of pride. There's one guy over by Isiro City. Honestly, really out of the way, hard guy to even find. But he thinks that the whole region will be rocked if he loses a battle. I don't think most of the region knows about him. On the other hand, you, my friend, you're in Victory Road. More of the region probably knows about you. But hopefully this won't rock it too badly. Nice Stoutland, by the way. That Pokemon sure does look big and imposing in its Gen 5 sprite. Big, imposing, and weak to Sacred Sword. Oh, that's going to give me a Justified boost, too. You take those? For sure. I'm a little surprised at how often Justified has come up already in this playthrough. But we know that people love clicking Dark types in my Crocodile for some reason. NPCs cannot get enough of clicking Dark type attacks into my Dark type. So I guess it's not too surprising. And it's very valuable that I have Red Deer available as a switch into those. Not because I need the Dark Resist. Crocodile is already a Dark Resist. That's why I'm so puzzled here. But because easy Justified boosts. Might as well farm them. Charlottetown levels up. So does St. John's. So did Red Deer. Good. Gonna need some of these levels for the league for the way things are going. And learning Air Slash is very valuable. Air Cutter was really not getting the job done. Air Slash should be somewhat better. We'll try it out on this Scolipede. But honestly, might as well stay in and Flash Cannon this. What's it gonna do back? I guess Iron Head was... I guess I should Iron Head to use the Justified boost. I forgot about it for a second there. Also, nice... well, if that's a 2-hit KO... No, I'll just Iron Head. Also, nice Bright Powder dodge on the Steamroller there. I don't really remember what Steamroller does. Does it have a flinch chance? I feel like it's never been relevant outside of this one generation because some of these Scolipede use it. I think like Golem gets it by level up, at least in some generations, so maybe that comes up somewhere. I feel like Steamroller is a pretty forgettable move for the most part. I don't really remember exactly what it does. Pride does not mean acting arrogantly. I'm really proud of what I have achieved in my life. Golem learning Steamroller, of course, is kind of interesting, though, because its coverage for those grass types, there's such a problem for it. I think I do want to slide down there, right? There's an item or something? This is the guy who's too scared to slide. I don't have to use another repel immediately, because... Yep, he just says the same thing again. Because there are no wild Pokemon on this clear part, it's the rugged part of the ground out here that has wild encounters outdoors. And then, of course, the cave works like any cave. I think there's an item here. Am I confused? There's an item here. Taunt. Pretty good TM for competitive play. Probably not going to use it in a playthrough, but nice to know it's there. Now I have to slide back down and do this again. I could take a shortcut by surfing, I just don't feel like it. But yeah, that's the only way to progress after getting the taunt TM. So we loop around here again. That part of the Victory Road design can get a little bit tedious, but hey, you know, they want to reward exploration and whatnot. It's cool. We know that this leads directly down to where I was when the guy demonstrated, so... let's go this way first. And obviously down before up. Obviously. Wait, you, young trainer over there, look at my Pokemon. Okay. Hey, rewarding exploration is nice, and it's neat that they can, you know, work those little intricacies into this Victory Road design, and overall, the aesthetic of climbing the mountain is just so good. I guess I really don't have much to criticize about this Victory Road. Is that the first Behem of the playthrough? I think it might not be. I don't really remember. But hopefully it's... Especially with the new sunglasses we got on this Crocodile, hopefully that's just food. Yeah. Lilligant. Let's switch out. Let's preserve Charlottetown for now. We'll try that new Air Slash. Shall we? I continue to like how these somewhat more powerful moves seem to hit with some impact in their animations and sound effects. Good stuff. So is that Air Slash Flinch. So is... Oh, are we speed time? That's neat. Unless I used a negative priority move last turn, but I can't think of what that would be on this Lilligant. Anyway, so is knocking down low HP, so Sludge Bomb can close that out. Here's a Heat more. got one of those. You can see Air Slash hitting harder than Air Cutter. Air Cutter kind of just goes by and clips them, judging by the animation. Air Slash hits with some impact. Unfortunately, it's not actually a lot more base power, so... Still having some trouble KOing things here, huh? Another flinch, though. We take those for sure. An opponent at my very first VGC Regional, after he beat me, said, better lucky than good. And that's how I'm feeling right now with St. John's flinching through this heat more. But also, can't do that with Air Slash, can you? Nope, just did it with Air Slash. Can't do that with Air Cutter, can you? Gonna get those names mixed up for as long as I talk about them. As a Pokemon grows, its connection to its trainer will improve and their bond becomes stronger. There's so many of these little instances. See? Shortcut. There's so many of these little instances where the physical special split in Gen 4 forced them to quickly populate one side of the spectrum or the other. Ah, yes, okay, this is the first... I see, I understand where I am now. Forced them to populate one side of the physical spectrum, special split or the other for a particular type, right? Like, Dark, famously... I'm gonna go the other way. Dark, famously, even though it was a special type in the first 3 generations, every single one of its attacks became physical with physical special split. Bite, changed from special to physical. Crunch, physical. Feint attack, physical. And so they had to invent things like Dark Pulse. I think it might have just been Dark Pulse in Gen 1. I think that might have been or Gen 4. I think that might have been the only special Dark type attack at the time. This guy says, whenever I'm lost, I meet a trainer. Of course, we're going to fight. I guess his hobby is beating trainers. And then they added things like Night Days and Snarl. But yeah, you can really see, there are a lot of these instances where you can really see where they had to quickly add some things. And so, I think Air Cutter might have existed in Gen 3, actually. But it's not very strong. Making that a special attack that's a bit stronger than Gust, and then making Air Slash similar, but a little different, a bit stronger than Air Cutter. I mean, they did a good job there. It's better than just Dark Pulse, but yeah. All these different variations they can think of on how to make wind somewhat more cutting, so that they can have stronger wind-based attacks to fill out the special side for the flying type. And I think Hurricane might be new in Gen 5. I don't remember for sure. Not sure that Hurricane was in Gen 4, but maybe I'm misremembering. Anyway, we're going to try to sweep this black belt with my Swanna. It's taken enough damage already that I'm not sure it's going to work out. But speaking of Air Slash, maybe we can flinch through this Conkeldurr too. Was that a crit? That was not a crit. That just does that much. Good job, Steinbach. Sorry about you fainting there, but you created a heck of an opening for St. John's to close this one out. And see, just rolling through with double flying types. St. John's is honestly weaker than Moncton so far, but not too much changes. I didn't realize this guy had a third Pokemon. Might be able to one-shot it, though. Let's see. Yep. Easy. I don't know what Mienfoo's stats are like, but they're not looking great this episode. It's not good. When people move ahead, they get lost or they stop. At those moments, Pokemon give you the courage to keep moving forward. And so it's thanks to Pokemon. This looks like the way to progress. I mean, I'll battle the doctor, but I probably want to double back after that, because this looks like the way forward more than the other path did. I am a doctor. If you have Pokemon in bad shape, let me see your Pokemon in battle. Yeah, I don't remember exactly how to do this part of Victory Road, so I'm doing a little bit of guesswork. I saw an exit from the cave, and I thought, that's probably the way forward. I should probably go explore the other area first. But I'm pretty sure going past the doctor is the actual way forward. So I'll double back before I go any further. Was I talking about something else? Who can possibly remember at this point? There we go, there's another easy target. Charlottetown's still holding on. And about to get healed, of course. I'm gonna go ahead and aerial ace this Leavanny. Probably just KOs if I'm faster. That's called good coverage into grass and bug types, both of which target Crocodile's weaknesses, but not if I target theirs first. St. John's grew to level 45. I might want to reconsider the experience share. Maybe not just yet. Whether your Pokemon are healthy or not, I'll restore them to full health. Okay. I aim to be the best doctor in the world, but first I intend to become the best trainer in the world. Some lofty goals, but good luck to you, my friend. I believe that item back there is one of the last that I'll get in this whole... If I remember correctly how to get to that item, I think it's one of the last that I'll be getting in here. Oh, I didn't even battle her yet. Okay. Oh boy, my Pokemon want to brag about me, so let's start. Okay. A lot of people with strong relationships with their Pokemon in this cave, huh? Which I guess makes sense for Victory Road. Or is it just the 3 monkeys? Does she just have the 3 monkeys? Oh, I still have this in front of my party, huh? I forgot. Should go back to Toronto. Actually, she'll probably give the experience share to Toronto at this point, if I'm being honest. Just kind of don't want to give up the... Nah, that's good. I kind of don't want to give up the Miracle Seed, but that's good, actually. I gave the experience share to Toronto and this Sharp Beak to St. John's, and that's just a bit stronger overall. Toronto is a bit behind in levels and having some difficulty coming from it at this point, if we're being honest. And that has a lot to do with the fact that I've never given the experience share to Toronto, partly because my starter should be one of my stronger Pokemon. I've been training it all this time, and partly because I didn't want to drop the Miracle Seed. But I think it's time, after this battle, of course. Anyway, finally landed an Air Slash into that Simisage, and it just drops. So yeah, Air Slash doing a fair bit better than Air Cutter already, and... yeah. Okay, didn't want... Was a little iffy on switching to my physical grass type when this has Scald. Although I'll still have to bring Toronto in, because I'm about to lose St. John's here. But that's fine. Yeah. Toronto has never gotten a turn with the experience share in this entire game. I think it's fair to say that it's time. I guess after I go back and heal again. Go back to that doctor, obviously not the Pokemon Center. That doctor is definitely blocking, not blocking, standing at the way forward anyway. Our last Pokemon is going to be a Simisear, so I don't want to switch out against that. Chandelure would be nice to have right now, but I left my Chandelure in the PC for undisclosed reasons, but I can just go to my Swanna. There we go. I still have a Water type on the team. Because that's a very deliberate choice that I made. Because that's a good choice to make. It's good to have a Water type. Oh, Big Pack's even coming in handy there. You love to see Big Packs activate. It's not super often, but it's always kind of fun. There it goes. Steinbach actually doing pretty well. I guess because she had the experience share for a long time. I remember when Steinbach was not doing so well. So I guess there's no shame in Toronto getting that same benefit now. Because I respect my opponents, I want to win against them. That's why I want other people to think that they want to win against me. Okay, sure. I'll go ahead and make the swap now. Take the experience share from St. John's, give it to Toronto. And then find that Sharp Beak from my bag to give to St. John's to make that Air Slash hit that much harder. Turn those very narrow 3-hit KOs into 2-hit KOs. Maybe even create some more 1-hit KOs. That would be nice. So many type boosting items. I can use whatever configuration I want pretty much, just about. Okay, yeah, it's just an item over here. Got fooled. But that's okay, I was always coming back one way or the other. Good Victory Road music too. Haven't remarked on it until now, but it's solid, you know? Fits the area. And everybody's healthy again. Thanks to the best doctor in the world. Sorry, future best doctor in the world. Unless best trainer is a prerequisite, then we're gonna have an issue. Last Super Repel, but I have so very many Max Repels after that. How about those Super Repels a while ago? End of an era, huh? They sure have been useful at some points. Exploring all over this region. Okay, you know the drill. This way first. Don't remember. Let's go this way. Huh. Okay, not a lot to be said for that. If I slide the other way, it just takes me to the same place. Okay, didn't matter. It was a false choice. Oh, but then I get this item either way. Not very useful, but at least I opened up the shortcut already. So, no real cost to doing that. Now we go further up. Brachion is through there. Gotta move the boulder first, of course. I've thought about what I can do to help my Pokemon win, and finally I figured out the answer. Okay. Let's hear it. Wang. Not a bad Pokemon. Maybe a little bit of a challenging one to take on the league with. This Steel type, though, that's pretty broken this gen. I mean, Steel types generally, not playing specifically. Although perhaps a little bit less broken for how much better the fighting type became in this gen than it was before, as I keep talking about. I want to get rid of that Screech drop, but no need to just yet, as we can get rid of Clang with the second Bulldoze here. Earthquake sure would be valuable. I'm sure that's coming. I'm sure that's not too far off. It sure would be valuable. Especially with two flying types on my team. Even if I get into a double battle, I can still just click Earthquake. Alright, I know I've been screeched, but I'm just going to stay in and bulldoze this Darmanitan. It's faster. That's going to KO for sure. But, maybe that was a little reckless of me. Maybe I didn't need to do that. Maybe I had somebody I could switch in to take that Hammer Arm just fine, but apologies to Charlottetown. Still have my Darmanitan counter right here. Apologies to Swanna, too. I mean, there's not really anything wrong with what I said. I like Swanna, it's just not a Pokemon I like so much that it was an obvious pick to get a spot on this team this late in this game. But it sure is proving useful. I guess in the same way that water types just generally are useful. But that still counts, right? I'm very happy with Steinbach's performance in this episode in particular. And I'm sure there's more to come. Anyway, this is superior food. Especially if it does that instead of clicking Poison move or something. Seismitoad gets Poison moves. It's a pretty obvious pick against Swanna anyway because their stabs aren't so useful. But, blew the chance, and there it goes. Look at all that experience. Read what your opponent wants to do. Your opponent is human and may change plans from moment to moment. Be careful. This guy's discovering... well, reads. He just said that. He's discovering predictions in competitive Pokemon. Good for him. You can see we're almost at the top. I think it's this way to progress for sure. Hopefully I'm not skipping something, but I don't think I am because just that over there. I don't know. Obviously that sent me down quite a ways. There's a little bit of looping around here, but it's not the same kind of looping where it's through areas I've already been to. It's just a spot where to go forward you have to go backward a bit, which is kind of neat in an area like this. I'm not complaining. The people who pass by here have such different moods. It's fun to watch and even more fun to fight against them. Okay. Only 2 Pokemon? I don't know what my lead is. I think it's Steinbach. But yeah, I didn't think to change my lead. It is Steinbach. That's fine. Type... mixed bag type matchup, except of course I cannot one-shot it because it definitely has Sturdy. But I guess the question is, does it one-shot me back? Because I'm definitely faster. Ooh, that's a Stone Edge. That Stone Edge didn't look... given that I'm praising move animations for hitting with a lot of impact at this kind of power level, that Stone Edge didn't look crazy powerful. But the sharp sound effect does a lot to make up for that. The sounds are pretty solid too throughout. Anyway. I always love a good Leaf Blade animation. Leaf Blade animations peaked all the way back in Gen 3 when the move debuted, but still pretty solid here, and we do close out the battle against the Gigalith with that. I am dropping Aerial Ace for Giga Drain. This is my final superior moveset in like every superior playthrough. Coil, Leech Seed, Giga Drain, Leaf Blade. It's not the most groundbreaking stuff, but against some opponents you can set up and sweep. And Giga Drain helps with that little bit of additional recovery over Coil. I'll just stay in on this Electros. I think this is the first Electros of the playthrough. What a creature to run into deep in this cave. Scary stuff for sure. Electros is not one of my favorite Pokemon in Gen 5 or anything, but it's certainly a fascinating Pokemon design. I like it, for sure. I'm just saying it's not one of my very favorites. But they did good work there. And look at all that experience adding up. See, that's the power of the experience share. Level 45 already, nicely catching up to the teammates. I'll leave the experience share for a while. I finally, after all this time, let Toronto hold it. Don't want to rip it away too quickly, right? I don't know who's going to be sent out first in the next battle. Maybe Red Deer? For now, this opens up the shortcut. It also opens up Terrakion. I'm not going to go face Terrakion right now, but I will in this episode. I think I'll go to the League first and then double back to Terrakion. This, of course, is the exit. I could be done with Victory Road now, but you know what kind of playthrough this is. It looks like there's an item down there, but it's such a long way. Do you have the courage? This guy doesn't know what kind of playthrough this is, but you, the viewer, do. There's another item over there. Oh, nugget. I did not remember what I was getting. That's good. This is a neat little area, too. You can go on these ledges, find some hidden items. I like it. Of course, the only way back up through a path we haven't done yet. Some good items down here, too. Max Revive, very nice. Probably something over here. Somewhere. But if so, I didn't find it. Here's that item I mentioned. Oh, it's the Dragon Claw TM. I forgot what it was. I could teach Dragon Claw to at least Charlottetown. Probably better than Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace does at least cover weaknesses. Although it does on Toronto too, and it's still not very useful. I'll teach Dragon Claw to Charlottetown, why not? I'll drop Aerial Ace for Dragon Claw. That could come in handy at some points. I guess it's only good coverage into Dragon types, but those show up sometimes. Now I get to heal again. Because we are back on the main path after, I would say, a pretty worthwhile item gathering side quest there. There were some good items. Now we can just go this way. I definitely missed something though. How do I get to it? What if I go this way? Then what if I go this way? Ah, there we go. I don't know if I've ever gotten this item before. Oh, and it's the Wild Charge TM. I don't think that's useful to me. Actually, Red Deer could probably learn it. Don't love recoil moves in a playthrough. Cobalion actually can't learn it anyway. If I still had a Substrika, I'd be able to learn it, but... Well, if I still had a Substrika in my party. I would be able to learn it, but I'm not sure I would want that when I have the Charge Beam Thunderbolt combo. Right, that was cooking things pretty nicely when I dropped Substrika from my team. Anyway, Wild Charge, not a bad TM, not the best, pretty solid. Nobody on my team can learn it. Oh well. Nice little exit animation at the end of Victory Road, and you come to Pokemon League. Design and music driving home just what this area is once again. This is what passes for Pokemon Center around here. And a Mart, I guess, all in one, in a generation where that's not... Oh no, that is normalized. I've been buying things at Pokemon Centers. There are no separate Marts in this game. I'm gonna get Moose out of the PC so I can Will-O-Wisp Terrakion. I guess I'll leave Toronto behind. Just because somebody has to stay. Oh no, I don't need strength anymore. I can just leave Montreal to Boldore behind. I've already done the strength that I need. I'll properly explore this area after, but Terrakion first. Move straight at the front. Of course, I have saved Quick Ball for this as well. Not quite done with Victory Road just yet. Patient. Be patient. I'll be back. Yeah, I want to make sure I can burn Terrakion. Obviously, it could use Rock-type attack to knock out Moose Jaw. Might need a little bit of luck there, but... I'm gonna try to do this one the same way I did the other two. 1 for 2 so far. Will it be majority success or majority failure? Let's find out together. Here's the trial chamber, and here's Terrakion. Grow! There's a battle transition one more time. You know the drill. Quick Ball first. I've saved one just for this. Same result as the others. It goes for Rock Slide immediately. We survive. Alright, good time for you to use Sacred Sword, Terrakion. Let's see it. It's a wild Pokemon. It doesn't have to make the optimal move. Helping Hand is also just strictly bad here, so yeah, take advantage of that wild Pokemon AI. This is why they need trainers. To bring out their potential in a mutually beneficial, symbiotic kind of relationship. And now it's burned. It's time to start throwing Ultra Balls. And catch it on the very first one. Not bad. This Pokemon came to the defense of Pokemon that had lost their homes in a war among humans. Pretty clear tie into the themes. As I said, what am I naming this? Already did Corner Bro, right? Alright, this can be... Corner Bro would be funny as a Terrakion name, but this actually fits very nicely. Cobalion is Red Deer, Terrakion can be Deer Lake. Do I add Terrakion to the team? I think the answer is no. I think I only want one of that trio on the team. First, Terrakion has a higher attack stat and more useful stab than Cobalion, but Steel typing is nice, and I've been training Cobalion for a while now. I think Deer Lake, the Terrakion, can sit in the PC. I guess the alternative would be to drop Charlottetown for it, and I guess that would be kind of reasonable with how legendary this team is getting, but I don't think I'm gonna. A whole lot left to do, though, huh? About time to challenge the league. Let's stock up on some healing items, because why not? Let's explore the area. Also, if you folks will sell me Quick Balls, I wouldn't mind buying one for Reshiram. I'll buy one for Reshiram, and I'll buy one for Kyurem when the time comes. Why not? Those are, I believe, the only 2 legendaries left. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and just blow the rest of my cash on full restores and revives. That's usually what I do at this point. Why not do it now? Or I'll at least get to like 50 of each. Surely I don't need more than that. If I do, probably want to be doing something different anyway. 50 full restores, 50 revives. There we go. The Pokemon League is every trainer's greatest challenge. You might want to prepare here, because if you lose even once, you have to start all over again. Making sure to let me know, because it's not exactly obviously a Pokemon Center. This rock looks fake as heck. It looks like a two-dimensional object pretending to be three-dimensional. Also, big open field there. I wonder whether that could be, used for anything. This is a nice area. It is appropriately imposing for a Pokemon League. These rocks look fake as heck, though. Oh well, they tried. The Pokemon League is a place where you both pursue strength and express it. The way to express it is simple. You just have to beat the Elite Four and the Champion. You can start your challenge by battling any of the Elite Four. If you defeat them all, you can challenge the Champion. However, I warn you, once you start your challenge, there's no turning back. You must keep battling until you defeat them all, or are defeated yourself. Do you want to go in? Yes. Then proceed. Oh, I actually have to walk. My bad. This is, of course, the first game in the series where you can choose the order in which you want to battle the Elite Four. I was never personally super fond of that. I always felt like the order kind of meant something. Like, in earlier games, there was a fairly clear hierarchy among the Elite Four, and that informed their characters, or at least that was how I felt about it. I guess it didn't really say that much about their characters, but, Lance being the last one in Gen 1 meant something. Lance is standing among the others. I guess there's not much more to it than that, but it felt to me like there was something to it, and so I was not ever super fond of the choice to challenge them in any order, which I believe is just a Gen 5, 6, 7 thing, right? So this is the first one. There'll be a few more instances, but not a lot. Then they'll move away from it again. I guess in Scarlet and Violet you battle the regular Elite Four in Paldea in a fixed order, but later the BB Elite Four, which is basically a school club masquerading as a Pokemon League, despite being plenty strong enough to be the real deal. You can face them in any order. And even then, there is a hierarchy. You're just not completely told what it is, and it doesn't matter to your challenge. So that's fine, I suppose. All that said, my brain was, when I first played through this game, pretty rigidly trying to impose order here. I wanted to understand the hierarchy of the Elite Four, which meant I wanted there to be one. In hindsight, that was probably kind of silly. If I were playing this game for the first time now, I would probably think very differently, but that was how I thought about it at the time. And the only logic I could think of was to go left to right. So that's what we'll be doing here. We are going to take on... I'm going to swap... Nope, I'm going to leave Moosejaw the Chandelure in the lead spot of my party. We are going to take on the official first member of the Unova Elite Four. Official in my mind back then, that is. Chantal. Big fan of these Elite Four chamber designs, by the way. I always like when they make them kind of elaborate and really show off the personality and specialty type of the trainer, instead of when they're kind of more on the bland side, like in the Hoenn games, and Diamond and Pearl specifically, though Platinum then improves on that a lot. Creepy Haunted Mansion vibe. Ghostly Lantern. Stacks of books that fit the Creepy Haunted Mansion vibe, and also the Bookworm Trainer. I love it. Let's battle. Eyes brimming with dark flame, this man rejected everything other than himself in order to bring about one singular justice. Wonder what she could possibly be talking about. That's part of a novel I'm writing. I was inspired by the Challenger who was just here, and somehow I got a little sad. Excuse me, you're a Challenger, right? I'm the Elite Four's Ghost-type Pokemon user, Chantal, and I shall be your opponent. Oh, I'll take on a Ghost-type trainer. Also, shout out to N. Being such an inspirational hero that she's motivated to write a whole novel about him right after she met him. Although, she picked up and directly commented on the overall sadness of his situation. Anyway, I'm leading Moose Jaw because I want to overpower this Cofagrigus without, you know, getting my Pokemon mummied. I guess it doesn't matter that much. I could just lead Charlottetown. It's not like I have Moxie on it anyway, but I guess I also don't want to get Will-O-Wisped. Moose Jaw narrowly taking that Shadow Ball. Should be able to knock this Cofagrigus out before I have to rely on... Yeah, I mean, the full restore doesn't matter. I'm faster. In fact, it's good to make her use it. Should be able to knock this out before I have to worry about anything else. I'll have to beat her other Pokemon with other stuff, though. But that should be fine. This is also her only single-type Pokemon, right? I can use things like Surf and Leaf Blade against Golurk and Jellicent. And I don't know, Bulldoze or something against Chandelure. Anyway, got her to use 2 full restores before Cofagrigus went down, so that's good. Here's the Golurk. Might as well not use a Revive if I don't have to, so let's just switch to Steinbach. And I was hoping it would use a Ground-type attack. That Shadow Punch did a lot of damage. Should be fine, though. We can at the very least weaken it for Toronto. If not, knock it out outright with the Surf here. Okay, that's good weakening. If I had Moxie Crocodile, I'd be looking to set up here, but I don't. It's actually probably worth going to Charlottetown and crunching it anyway. Because if I go Toronto and she brings in Chandelure after that, I mean, then what do I do, right? With Charlottetown, I can just keep attacking without having to switch again. Whatever her next Pokemon is. Or I guess if it's Jellicent, I'm probably better off switching to Toronto and saving Charlottetown for the Chandelure, but even then, that's a little bit smoother. Because if this goes for like a Hydro Pump or something, we should take that pretty well, switching in. Level 48, though, actually a little bit tricky for this team at this point. Of course, usually when I play Black and White, well, Black specifically, usually when I play Black, I've been using the heck out of the Lucky Egg up to this point. And this playthrough, for whatever reason, I decided to actually dip into my broader item pocket of goodies. And honestly, I don't even know where the Lucky Egg is right now. Kind of been forgotten. So maybe my Pokemon are a little bit worse off for it. This is still going pretty smoothly. I'm not terribly worried about beating Caitlyn. I think I should probably be fine against Marshall, too. Grimsley could be a little interesting, but we'll see. Level 50 Chandelure, by the way. That means all the other aces will also be at level 50. Yeah, see, just go straight for a Fire Blast. I didn't think... I knew I could smoothly switch in Toronto on the Jellicent. I didn't think through this part afterward. Also being slower than the Chandelure. Certainly didn't think that part through. Didn't see it coming. But yeah, it's just going for a Fire Blast is pretty scary stuff. Don't really have great answers to this anymore. Maybe St. John's can flinch through it. I might just end up having to revive Charlottetown. You know, it would be a good answer to this, an Archeops, but let's get over that together, shall we? If she missed her Fire Blast, that would also be a good answer to this. In fact, I think when St. John's goes down here, my next answer is to go to Charlottetown and just heal. Oh, Charlottetown fainted, I forgot. Alright. Sack Moose Jaw, revive Charlottetown, and then just heal through the Fire Blasts. So be it. Chandelure sure is a strong Pokemon, huh? Or there's Steinbach to revive, but the problem is, of course, Steinbach resists the Fire Blast, but not the Shadow Ball. And the Shadow Ball, though it has lower base power, is her more consistent and spammable attack. So I think I'm better off resisting that than I am the Fire Blast. Anyway, gonna get wiped out by a Fire Blast immediately if I don't heal here, so let's do that. I still have a bunch of Moo Moo Milk, and I'm in range to be fully healed by it, so let's do that. instead of jumping to a Hyper Potion. Right. She keeps landing her Fire Blasts. That's out of Moo Moo Milk range. But a Hyper Potion will do just fine. Probably could have just bought Hyper Potions instead of Max Potions. Didn't really consider it. It's fine, right? The problem is now the Shadow Ball will take us to Fire Blast KO range, but what am I going to do? Not take my chances as they come up? Need her to miss. Well, I can sack someone else and heal, but, you know, that does burn revives. It's not great. It is what it is. That was probably her second last Fire Blast. I could have just been more patient and kept healing, but I didn't want to. I guess if this were still a Nuzlocke, that would have been the thing to do. If this were still a Nuzlocke, a lot would be different about this battle, though, huh? Anyway. I think that's her last Fire Blast. I will heal Charlotte down just to hedge, though. No, I won't. What does it matter? Let's just attack. If she has more Fire Blast, she can just Shadow Ball into Fire Blast anyway. Shadow Ball. Okay, good. At least it doesn't have much PP, if she's never gonna miss one. At least there's some compensation. That was Chantal. That was, that took more work than I anticipated. And unfortunately, the second member of the Unova Elite Four is Grimsley, and I'm sort of the least clear on how that one's gonna go. Know a lot of words, we can't figure out how to say this. Her feeling is that I'm a great trainer. That's the gist. Sorry. First, I must apologize to my Pokemon. I'm really sorry you had a bad experience because of me. Oh, it's not your fault. This is how battles always are. Even in light of that, I'm still one of the Elite Four. Oh, and she does actually say something different when I talk to her again. I wasn't sure if she would. Every person who works with Pokemon has a Pokemon story to tell. I've found that stories where people and Pokemon help each other out are far more interesting than stories about only people or only Pokemon. Alright. Bookworm Chantal, great take on a Ghost-type specialist, but we can also see why they wanted her in the Elite Four for this game specifically. What better way, I guess, to drive home the themes of the story than with the voice of a storyteller character. They're getting pretty on the nose about it at this point, but again, they are relatively complex and nuanced themes for a Pokemon game. So I can't really complain about that. They don't want the kids missing... Well, they want as much as possible to land with the kids, right? And I think it's earned. Earned enough. It's been kind of really in your face through a lot of this. Of course, less so if you don't go around exploring like I've been doing and actually talking to the NPCs optionally and stuff. That also has been... It's also worth remembering that's been affecting my experience, but... I swapped St. John's to the front because I think Grimsley leads with Scrafty. But it's not such a bad thing to have characters pretty much flat out stating some of the themes now, because this is a children's game. Oh, I forgot about this. I'm going to skip through it and start over from the top. I forgot that there's text that explains... I definitely did read this in my first playthrough. Let me out. I definitely did read this in my first playthrough, so I did know what I was getting into, even as I just went left to right anyway. Words are engraved on the statue. 4 great warriors form this Pokemon League. The southwest is the one who does not fear the ghost type. To the southeast is the one who channels the power of the fighting type. To the northwest is the one who has mastered the dark type. To the northeast is the one who knows the mind of the psychic type. If you can defeat these warriors with your courage and wisdom, you shall be led to the summit, where the strongest champion awaits. I guess another interpretation you could go with is battle them in the order listed there. I think what they actually want you to do is battle them in whatever order you see fit, based on knowing their specialty types. But like I said, my brain was looking for more of a logic than that on my first playthrough. It went left to right, and we're going left to right here as well. Big fan of both versions of Grimsley's room, this and Black 2 White 2. Certainly suits the character, also just a pleasant design. I enjoy watching the torches light up as I go by. I especially enjoy that we see that one there near the end. Close enough to the top that even though we can't see the torch, we can see the flame. Nice chandelier. Nice wall candles. Nice couch. Let's go. Man, oh man, what is going on today? Challengers coming one right after another. Well, no matter. I am Grimsley of the Elite Four, and I will fulfill my duty to be your opponent. There he is. Memorable character to a lot of fans, I think. Memorable design, I should say. Doesn't hurt that he pops back up in Sun and Moon, of course. With a very different outfit. Anyway. I can air slash through this, and if I succeed in that... Flinch? Sand attack? Okay, I'm probably going to want to switch out. What I was going to say is I could try to focus blast through his team. Although, you know what? Content Brain is telling me after taking a sand attack, that's all the more reason to start clicking focus blast. And I do still have an actual fighting type legendary in the back, so let's just try it, shall we? Here's this Crocodile. I don't know why he's going to that now. Maybe it has Rock Slide or Stone Edge. I don't know. I don't have my hidden ability Defiant. Not that I have a physical attack to take advantage of it anyway. Here we go. -1 accuracy Focus Blast. I'll probably look up later what the percentage is adjusting for the -1 accuracy. I don't know the chances of hitting this one. You can let me know in the comments, but I'll probably have looked it up already. But I might forget, so do let me know in the comments. -1 Focus Blast. Let's go. -1 accuracy Focus Blast. Let's go. Nice that he intimidated me before clicking Foul Play. That's awfully convenient. Solid bit of anti-synergy, not even on his team, but just on one of his Pokemon with itself there. The Focus Blast connects, but it doesn't KO. I'm going to try to land an Air Slash, because he's going to use a Full Restore. If I do land another Focus Blast, I want to just KO with it. It is not convenient to use up his Full Restores, but... Alright, let's be mature and responsible and just go for the Air Slash KO here. If this works... Alright, he's going to knock out... Well, if he uses Foul Play again, actually I can get a Justified boost on Red Deer. That's what I'm going to do here. I could go for the Focus Blast here, and that would be funny, but I just get outsped anyways. Crocodile's faster, as I'm sure you noticed. Crunch, perfect. Would have been bad if he clicked Earthquake there, but also he'd definitely be cheating, clicking Earthquake into a flying type. So I'd get to call him out on that, I suppose. And Grimsley is supposed to be based on a Gambler, and it's still faster. It's faster than this, too. Okay, well I threw away my best counter to his team. Good thing I have revives. I guess I'll go... Actually go Toronto here. That might outspeed. Superior is fast. Anyway, Grimsley's supposed to be based on a Gambler, right? What kind of Gambler cheats? I mean, so a certain kind, but like... You know, I think Grimsley is more of an authentic Gambler. You know, if you're serious about gambling in itself and not just trying to win money... It kind of defeats the purpose to cheat. And I think that's what Grimsley's mindset would be. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm going to go ahead and revive Red Deer right now. Because how else am I beating this Bisharp? Might as well try to Leech Seed it. Ah, no. Might as well just switch out to Red Deer. Try to save myself another revive after the battle. Alright. That X-Scissor shouldn't do much. And surely, that did like literally 4 damage, I think. And surely we outspeed this Bisharp. And then we don't outspeed his Liepard in the back, but what does it do, right? So after the Crocodile, this one's not too bad. To put it mildly, after the Crocodile, this one's looking very easy. I guess I shouldn't count my Liepard before they're KO'd. But I've seen so very many Liepard in this playthrough. And they haven't been all that scary. Fake Out's a nice trick, but that did like 6 damage. It has Aerial Ace. We know that's not a very strong attack, even though it's neutral into Cobalion. That's Grimsley. That actually was a decent bit easier than Chantal. Chantal's Ace, I guess, being such a scary Pokemon made a difference there. Real Warrior ponders the next battle. Whether or not you get to fight at full strength, whether or not luck smiles on you, none of that matters. Only results matter, and a loss is a loss. See, victory shines like a bright light, and right now you and your Pokemon are shining brilliantly. Okay, only results matter sounds like someone who would maybe cheat at gambling, but I don't think so. Right? I think he's more the type who's just driven to win legitimately. And I think the analogy is breaking down as we talk about Pokemon battling, which is not strictly luck-based anyway. What was it? How did I get onto that subject in the first place? I don't remember. Oh, right. Would he cheat by clicking Earthquake when I switched to my Cobalion? And the answer was it didn't matter as Crocodile was faster. Anyway, now I'm nothing more than the guy who lost. Nothing more, nothing less. You should take that strength and test it against the rest of the Elite Four. So, we got Chantel telling us that she's seen firsthand the value of other perspectives and bringing different perspectives together in a story. We see Grimsley kind of speaking to the importance of battle as a test of almost of our worth to an extent. Certainly that's what N is going for. And I suppose it helps in building up to the fated battle of heroes. Anyway, of course, Caitlyn will be next. I'll move Charlottetown to the front. I don't think Caitlyn has much coverage on her team for dark types, but maybe I'll be made to remember that I've forgotten something. But anyway, I think she leads with Musharna, and I think it really doesn't have coverage for dark types. This little beam of light sending me up the path. Another really solid chamber design. This one screaming Psychic type trainer as soon as the beam of light hits you. You see the twinkling stars in the background, and of course Caitlyn. Familiar character for those who played Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, played the Battle Frontier specifically. Or like Butler or whatever was one of the Frontier brains. I don't remember exactly what he was. Something like that. And she was there watching the battles. But it's in this game that we finally see her battle herself. Who are you? How impudent you are to disturb my sleep. Humph. You appear to possess a combination of strength and kindness. Very well. Make your best effort not to bore me with a yawn-inducing battle. Clear? I was definitely kind of surprised when Caitlyn popped up in this game. How often does a member of the Elite Four... How often do you find in the Elite Four a character who did not debut in the same game, but in fact debuted earlier? Granted, in a non-battling role, so they could do whatever they wanted with their team, but... That was a neat touch, but also a little bit odd. I don't know. I don't have crazy strong feelings about it. It's kind of neat. Just a little, oh hey, I recognize that character. Anyway, I was wrong. She leads with Reuniclus. I think she leads with Musharna in rematches. Anyway, she definitely has a Musharna. Let's just get past this Reuniclus. Unfortunately, she lands her Focus Blast too. What it is. I'll just go Moose Jaw. She'll use a full restore. As long as I'm faster, which I should be because it's a Reuniclus. Just Shadow Ball, I think. Might want to think about reviving Charlottetown after that, but we'll see. There's a full restore. Here's the next Shadow Ball. We are faster. The rest of our team is Musharna, Sigilif, Gothitelle. Not super threatening. The Sigilif could be a problem. We'll see. I'm down to keep the experience share in Toronto until level 50, I think. Here's a Musharna. I'll Shadow Ball this. I actually could switch out to Toronto and probably set up on this, although... It might have a sleep-inducing move. It does in her rematch team. I don't know for sure that it does here. Could be annoying. I don't know that it's super threatening otherwise. Anyway, we can just knock it out with a Shadow Ball. But then, yeah, I'm going to have to think about what to do with her Sigilif when that comes in. I think it's probably next. Don't think she goes to her Ace. That's also just pure Psychic type here. Nope, there's the Sigilif. Probably going to outspeed. I don't really have a good answer to it, huh? Alright, I guess I just sack Moose Jaw and figure the rest out. Nothing on my team is amazing into Sigilif. My two best Psychic type answers generally have both been knocked out. I don't really have great Flying type answers. Let's try Red Deer. Neutral, of course, to both its stabs, but it's also neutral to my X-Scissor back. But we get a nice Bright Powder dodge immediately on the Psychic. We definitely take those. Ironhead does back-to-back Bright Powder dodges. which is good because she might use a full restore here. She doesn't? Okay. Let's see what this Psychic does. Yeah, good thing she only landed one of those. It's a 2-hit KO, but she doesn't get to prove it. It's a little bit steady. Iron Head knocks her out first. Here's the Gothitelle. I'll just X-Scissor it, and then I should probably be able to beat it with the rest of my Pokemon without having to revive anyone. Caitlin reminding herself to stay cool and collected. We'll see how that goes. Here comes the X-Scissor. Not amazing damage. And she's landing her Psychics now. Honestly, is it worth Leech Seeding this? Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything crazy strong to hit it with, so I might as well get that consistent damage option in place. Also, the experience share is going crazy for Toronto. Toronto is really gaining levels on some of the rest of the team, so even just Leaf Blading here might put in good work. He's always going to land her Psychics now, because Bright Powder isn't even on the field anymore. But that is not even a 2-hit KO, and with Leech Seed recovery. And I think a Leaf Blade probably hitting pretty hard. This looks promising. I mean, I think it's just a matter of overwhelming this Gothitelle anyway. I don't think it can take out the remaining half of my team by itself. We probably have just knocked her down to her last full restore now, though, right? She still has one. She'll use it here. I could get a Leaf Blade crit at any time. I am down to fish for that. Let's see that boosted crit rate that's come in clutch, I think, a few times before. It's not doing amazing damage without a crit, but she's used 2 full restores. I think that's all she has. And I still have 2 more Pokemon after this, and Gothitelle is slow. I would like Toronto to not be knocked out, and it looks like that will in fact not be happening. Looks like my starter will take down the ace of the official canon 3rd Elite Four member. And we move on to Marshall. Toronto is leveling up so quickly with the experience share. You love to see it. I'll take it away in a couple more levels, like I said. You haven't faced all of the members of the Elite Four yet, have you? Don't concern yourself about me, go on ahead. And then if I talk to her more, she says, in the past, when I battled, the force of my emotions shook me greatly. When my power awoke, I came close to destroying everything around me. That weak person no longer exists. Still, sometimes my determination fails. Always, I aspire you to wrap up a victory with elegance and grace. I invite you to be my opponent again in the future if you wish. I thought I vaguely remembered that part of her backstory, but I didn't remember where I remembered it from. Can't remember whether it comes up at all in her previous appearance in Platinum, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver. Of course, it's a handy explanation for why she doesn't battle there. Instead, her dude, whatever his job is exactly, is the Frontier Brain. Does that tie in thematically to the story? Like I think the other two kind of did. Use Moo Moo Milks on, but not on Toronto. That one needs a Hyper Potion. Something about grace and victory, maybe. Not being captured by your emotions when you battle. I mean, N is putting a lot of his emotions on the line in our final showdown, right? But he, unlike a certain someone working with him, is dead serious on that really being a test of right and wrong, and really honoring his end of sort of the implied bargain where he will back down if he loses. So maybe there's something to that, and probably would show a kind of grace and victory even as he would impose his will on the region. He certainly shows grace in defeat, as we'll see. But first, Marshall. The last member of the Unova Elite Four. Just excellent Elite Four chamber designs all around. And the different ways that you're sent upward in a spiral are a really nice touch. I like the direct paths in black and white too as well, but spirals are fun. As spirals often are in this game. In places like the Celestial Tower and Dragon Spiral Tower as well. And then we got the ring, we got the cage. It's time for a cage match. Let's go. Obviously, there's no way down in any of these. This is the one that looks most like there could be. Time for a cage match, let's go. Greetings, challenger, my name is Marshall. In order to master the art of fighting, I'm training under my mentor, Alder. My mentor sees your potential as a trainer and is taking an interest in you. It is my intention to test you, to take you to the limits of your strength. Yay! His relationship with Alder is, you know, Marshall's not... There's not a whole lot to any of these Elite Four characters. I like Chantel's vibes as a Ghost-type specialist. It's kind of neat that Caitlyn is from a past game. A lot of people like Grimsley's unusual look. There's not a lot to these characters. It definitely does add something to Marshall, though, that he has that relationship with Alder, mentor-mentee. This hard training fighting type specialist trying to reach the same kind of literal mountaintop that his teacher is on. Oh, that baited a full restore out of him. That's really good, as is him missing the Stone Edge. Very strong position to press the advantage here. There's his other full restore. Perfect. Could probably be using extra sensory and not risk missing an air slash, but I don't know. This is sharp beak boosted air slash too. And hey, I could get a flinch. Nope. Instead, because I missed, he gets a chance to land the Stone Edge this time. Not quite pressing an advantage so much anymore, but using up his full restores is nice. And, as you know, I do have another flying type. Let's see what that can do. Actually, I definitely could, and have in past playthroughs, set up my Superior on his throw. I didn't even think about it this time, but oh well. Here's the sock. That probably is Stone Edge too, and sturdy, but let's see. Oh, it's faster too. Unfortunate for me. Goodbye both of my flying types. I guess let's see now if I can set up Toronto. Might as well. I don't really have anybody else who's great into a sock. I guess I could have intimidated it first, but... Hey, Toronto's faster, that's good. We get the Leech Seed, and then the coils will come out before it moves. Still going for Stone Edge for some reason instead of a stab attack, so get another chance to dodge one there, and that pays off nicely. Of course, he will get the boosted crit rate for Stone Edge, but only if he lands them. And then he still has to actually crit, and all that with not a lot of PP. He lands this one. No crit. Not a whole lot of damage either. And we see the Leech Seed healing some of that off. We get another coil. His whole team is physical, I think. The only question mark is the Mian Shao, but I think that's also physical. So just getting a couple of coils. That Stone Edge does not do much. And yeah, I could have just done this against his throw in the first place. I definitely have in past playthroughs. I don't know why I didn't think about it here until I was already doing something else. But pretty effective solution to Marshall right there. As long as he doesn't get a fairly specific bit of luck. Which certainly could happen. Look at how this sock is getting worn down in the meantime. Right, I'm still gaining ground even if I end up unlucky. And if I don't end up unlucky, as he switches to Grass Knot for some reason. Does he not have like close combat or something? What in the world? Why does he even have Grass Knot? Who knows? But yeah. As long as he plays like this, it's pretty smooth sailing through this battle. And you love to see... He's used everything except his stab attack. I'm beginning to think he doesn't have one. You love to see my starter putting in work, right? Especially since Superior was kind of struggling earlier in this episode, and I acknowledge that it has some disadvantages compared to Embor and Samurott. But this is where Superior shines, in a situation like this. Not every battle can be like this, but there certainly are some. To get one at the Elite Four, I'm going to Giga Drain to save Leaf Blade PP. I don't know why, I'm going to get healed after this anyway, right? But it didn't matter, it was so low. To see Superior play like this in this battle, I love it every time. Favorite starter in the whole series, if you didn't know that yet. Here's his ace. This is his ace in this game. In the first battle, at least. I think it's already Conkeldurr in the rematch, and then it's Conkeldurr in Black and White too. But you can see the Mian Shao there was at level 50. Thought it would use Fake Out, it didn't. No idea what it was trying to do. And here's the Conkeldurr, level 48. About to surpass that after this Leaf Blade. There we go. I finally give my starter a turn with the experience share after all this time, and look what happens. That was Marshall. Safe to say that was the easiest one, I think. Although Chantal was definitely the hardest, so maybe I went in the exact wrong order for the team that I had, huh? This guy respects me. I think he said something about truth and ideals, but I kind of gave up a while ago. I'm still in the battle screen dialogue. Now, you have become the strongest trainer in this Pokemon League. The statue in the central chamber will take you to the Champions Room. We, the Elite Four of Unova, are sworn to follow the Champion's order to be neutral, so the rest is up to you. Now... Oh, this guy actually does just say the same thing again. Of course, you can see their dialogue kind of reacts to what's happening. They've all just lost to N. And he just told me, you've defeated the Elite Four. Now you can do this. So presumably that means the others would have dialogue like that, right? Each of them if they were the last one. I don't really remember. I have done multiple playthroughs of this game in the past, and I have not always gone in the same order. But I don't always pay the closest attention to their dialogue. Certainly I paid the most attention on my first playthrough and now on this one. Maybe they all say the same thing if they're defeated last. That would make some sense. And, as is so often the case on this mountain, we go down a little bit and then we go up. Here's the summit. Old palace here, fit for a champion. Let's go see how Alder's doing. Yeah, Alder's not doing great. It's over. Never again will Pokemon be made to suffer or be held captive by humans. It's all thanks to my friend Zekrom. You may have the title of champion, but you can't stop me with just a title. Your soft hours left you weak. You should go your Pokemon, your partner to sickness. In order to forget the pain of your heart, you wandered Unova. Who knows how long it's been since you had to fight with your full strength. I actually kind of like that about you, though. As a trainer of fire, matches the champion. I shall issue an order across Unova. Trainers of the world, free your Pokemon. I beg you. Separating people from Pokemon. Do anything but that. You and I both put our beliefs on the line and fought with all our strength. And I won. Do not say another word. Oh, but that's not the battle you were looking for, was it, Anne? I've been waiting. In the future, I envisioned you obtained a stone. And indeed you have. That light stone. Zekrom is responding to it. Stop. This is not a suitable place for the legendary dragons. From the ground, rise up. The castle of Team Plasma. Throughout the Pokemon League. Big empty field around the league, huh? You have to wonder how on earth they set this up without anyone noticing, but I am willing to suspend disbelief for this. Especially if it topples some of those absurdly fake-looking rocks. Those are not great for the aesthetic of the place. Look at that. Just look at the scale of what they've done here. Towering over the Pokemon League. Launching these bridges. Boom. Like I said, no problem suspending disbelief for something this cool, though. Gotta be one of the coolest things an evil team ever does. I mean, there's no argument against that, right? What just appeared to Team Plasma's castle. And the king's word will resound from the highest below. I guess N knew exactly where to stand, so he wouldn't be hit by that thing, though, huh? You must cover the castle as well. Everything will be decided there. Whether Pokemon will live from people, or whether people and Pokemon will live together. We will see whose belief is stronger, and our result will change the world. You got it, buddy. I've been looking forward to it all this time. And here's Charon. Mr. Alder, you're a wreck. It's not fitting for the champion. You did well to get this far. Oh, Charon beat the Elite Four too, I forgot. Of course, nobody's allowed in here without beating the Elite Four. There's never an exception for that, even when the region is in crisis. I should have known, but congrats to him on doing that, huh? Somehow I beat the Pokemon League, but it wasn't easy. Although, wow, the Elite Four have had to work hard this day. Challenged in very quick succession by N, because N probably like just got there before I did, right? N and then Alder, and sorry, N and then me, and then Charon. That's a lot of work for the Elite Four. They must be tired. I have to congratulate you. I became stronger because I understood what I want to do. Black, tell N this. Some people grow stronger by being with Pokemon. My Pokemon and I are proof. Together we learned and became stronger. I lost. I should have been able to demonstrate the bond between me and my Pokemon. That would have shown that brat the worthlessness of his outrageous dreams. So his convictions were the real thing. Be careful. The ones who change the world are always the ones who pursued their dreams. Black, I ask this of you. Even if Pokemon and people are separated, nothing good will come of it. Please let him know that. I don't know what I make of Alder saying, you know, teach that brat the worthlessness of his dreams. That seems a little bit extreme for... I mean, I don't know. I think it would be worth a deeper critical analysis that I'm really equipped to do in this series of how much the game really has to say about black and white morality, because it does walk that tricky tightrope where it says that things are not always so black and white, and there are a lot of different valid perspectives, but also sometimes one side is right and the other side is wrong. Sometimes the legendary dragons fight to a stalemate and the battle just ends or wrecks the region. Sometimes one of them defeats the other. Which, hey, is true to real life, but maybe the moral gets muddled a little bit. I'm a little surprised that Alder came out swinging about that brat like that, although I guess one way to interpret what he's saying, and I wonder whether the translation influences this at all, you could look at it as like, I thought that I was firmly in the right, and so I should be able to beat that brat, but the strength of his convictions in defeating me shows that there's more to this than that. That might be a way of looking at it. I like that a little bit more than taking it at face value, but I'm not sure what the writers actually intended. In any case, Alder definitely takes N somewhat more seriously after battling him than before. Charon, meanwhile, his arc has been about finding something to give his strength value. And he tells me here it's his bond with his Pokemon. And he wants me to say that to N. Of course, N and Charon are kind of two sides of the same coin, aren't they? In a lot of ways. N's strength, in a way, also comes from his bond with his Pokemon, but he has a different view of what that means. We know N has started to question his rigid perspective a little bit, or at least to entertain the possibility of questioning it. Even showed a little bit of respect to Alder in the aftermath of their battle, if only sort of vaguely acknowledging Alder as maybe sometimes one of the good ones, if you will, but obviously, Alder tells me N is still a true believer. N is putting it all on the line. He's not going to budge on his beliefs unless he loses the clash of the two dragons. But kind of sad that the guy who's all about separating people and Pokemon very much gives value to his strength through his relationships with his Pokemon as well. Much like Charon. Kind of feels like if, you know, the structures of a Pokemon game didn't demand that I be the protagonist to take N down and show him what's what. Charon might have been a very suitable character for that kind of role. Although I guess an important part of his arc is his strength kind of falling short and him not finding fulfillment in it early on because he keeps losing to me. So, you know, I'm important to his story too. The player character is important to his story. And the player character being able to get the better of him in battle, and perhaps being implied to have a deeper understanding of Pokemon to begin with. Although not always silent protagonist, not when Tornadus is around. There's only so much you can do to show that. I don't know, there's a lot to think about here. And only so much time I'm willing to spend on it when I have a castle to invade. Climb the stairs into the sky. Admire this scene that we'll only see once. Look at that chasm. How did they build all this? I mean, how did they build all this without anyone noticing, but also just how did they build all this? They have been misusing their talents, that's for sure. Now these guys quote philosophers or something, right? I have known at some point where these quotes come from. Those in accord with fate, and they do all come from somewhere. Those in accord with fate are preserved, and those who rebel against fate perish. When the way is forgotten, duty and justice appear. One can lose the forest for the trees. If you make a mistake and do not correct it, that is a second mistake. Superior men understand what is right, inferior men understand what will sell. There are not two suns in the sky, nor two sovereigns over the people. I don't really know what they're trying to say there. It kind of seems like they're just showing up and spouting philosophy, but I guess you could interpret it as like, we are standing up for what's right, Our king is the true sovereign. Therefore, you must be stopped. You know, you can fill that in. Anyway, here are 6 of the 7 sages. One more, of course, to be dealt with later. If anything should happen to our king, it would be disastrous. It would ruin Getz's perfect plan. Our Lord Anna will be disappointed, but the 6 of us shall defeat you here. There's Getzis trying to do what he can to make sure the Battle of the Dragons doesn't happen, but he has to kind of work behind En's back. But, yeah, not quite gonna go as he envisioned. Can you manage that? Can you manage that? Whatever. The first reflection I said doesn't make any sense in context, but anyway, still standing, are you, Black? They all back up. Your drift veils. Oomph! Ain't just me. And all the gym leaders are here except the triplets. So sorry. Not only are we stronger than you, but there are a lot of us. Accursed gym leaders. Ignoring Team Plasma. That would be a terrible thing for us gym leaders to do. They use a lot of these same lines in whatever animation series that was, Pokemon Evolutions or Generations, whichever one. I think the way Elisa says that in the series, like, that would be a terrible thing for us gym leaders to do. Bianca asked us to come too. ... I'm fine, don't worry. No need to worry. Holder of the Lightstone, please proceed. And so here are the gym leaders, with their very different personalities, their very different roles in society and in the story. Childish Iris. Boisterous, fun-loving Skyla. Quiet artist Berg. Archaeologist Lenora. Stern, no-nonsense businessman Clay. Showy model Elisa. Direct, to the point. Quiet, largely hidden away, retired actor Bryson. And tough, powerful Mayor Drayden. All gathered by Bianca, doing her part, as always. Unable to stand up to Team Plasma in battle, at least at this kind of level, but doing what she can. Bringing all these people from all these different backgrounds and all these different perspectives together to take on a challenge as one group. The themes of the story just keep rolling in. It's a nice, satisfying moment seeing all these gym leaders show up. As for the missing trio, in-universe explanation, Bianca just didn't get to them in time. She's been going all over the region to gather the gym leaders. We know she has a fly HM, but even so, it is a lot. But of course, this spawned a ton of fan theories that the triplets were secretly the Shadow Triad. I think debunked only when the Black 2, White 2 memory link actually showed those two trios interact with each other. In fact, if I remember right, the Adventures manga even strongly implied that the Shadow Triad were the triplets for a while. And then, of course, that got dropped. Because I think it did. I did all those memory link events at some point, but yeah, there definitely is one where the Shadow Triad directly interact with the triplet gym leaders, as if Game Freak was making sure to tell us, no, you're mistaken, these are not the same people. I was never sure how much stock I put in that fan theory anyway. I was never... I'm not saying I definitely was sure it wasn't true, I'm just saying I never was convinced of it or anything, but yeah, that was a thing for a while. In-universe explanation, Bianca just didn't get to them in time. Got any dialogue here? I can empathize with some of what you say, but I can't forgive the way you reject everything else. Yep, that makes the point pretty clearly. ... That's all he's got. I do not appreciate stubborn people. Wow, Bianca's dad got off lightly, huh? Things aren't gonna go the way you fellas think they are. I'm sure of that. We have been and will continue to be together with Pokemon. Your Pokemon, they're doing their best for you, right? Why would you want to be separated from them like that? Now, acrobatics! Skylar's just having fun, as always. Acrobatics, let's go! These guys better be careful or Skyla might fire them out of a cannon. I'm not sure the 7 Sages can handle that. I won't lose. No way, no way, no way. Constant dripping wears away the stone. I've been waiting in the abyss for this day. No one shall interfere. I've been waiting in the abyss. When we don't see the leaders of Team Plasma, are they just lurking in an underground castle all this time? Oh, and which one is this? Rude? We'll see. Rude has been waiting for this day. Considering his role in Black 2, White 2. Interesting bit of dialogue. He seems pretty committed to the mission here. Gonna be a little bit different in the sequels. This is Ryoku. We can only do our best and leave the rest to fate. We've done everything in our power. All we can do now is believe in our Lord N and wait. Giallo says, Getz has called us the Chosen Ones. He chose us and gathered us here so we can change the world. Kind of weird, by the way, how for us defeat isn't possible. Kind of weird, by the way, how some of their outfits don't match their colors. This guy's name does mean green, but red, yellow. I think the rest of them do more or less line up. Only if this is Gorm. Nope, this is Bronius. Yeah, actually, most of their outfits don't match their colors. That's kind of odd, huh? And by their colors, I mean, as I mentioned in a previous episode, if you didn't know, each of these 6 guys is named after a color. All their names mean colors in different languages. You shall not interfere with Team Plasma or our king. So, red in Dutch, green in Japanese, yellow in Italian. I think this one is brown in Latin, probably. Looks like Latin to me. Gorm, I think means blue in, I don't know, a Celtic language. I think that's right. Maybe multiple Celtic languages. I don't know my Celtic languages. Anyway, a single fallen leaf signals the start of autumn. Hey, that's the current season. I wonder if that line is the same in every season. Probably is, right? But because it is actually in-game autumn right now, I'm not certain. We know our history. The emergence of this castle is the harbinger of change in Unova. And finally, Zanzalin. I think is some kind of French word for purple, although that's not French I know. But I have looked this up at some point. It is the way of the universe. Actually, I think I looked it up earlier in this series when I was trying to be sure of how to pronounce his name. It is the way of the universe to take from excess and fill emptiness. Taking Pokemon from people is restoring balance to nature. Alright, whatever, dude. Love the background music for this castle, by the way. Could see myself intentionally lingering a little bit. And look at the scenery. All this. Just for this portion of the game. All this just for the final showdown. Of course, there are some rooms to explore. Of course, there are their grunts to talk to, get their perspective on things. Haha! We, Team Plasma, were using the Pokemon we took from others all along. Aw, poor Whittle Pokemon. They had to do what we told them. Yeah, I think I know what side of the schism in Black 2, White 2 she's gonna end up on, huh? Our Lord N proved that he is stronger than the champion. Now many trainers will admire our Lord N and follow his orders. In other words, they will do whatever Team Plasma says. That one could cut either way, but these two are definitely drunk on perceived power, huh? Nice artwork, little lake scene. I don't really know what I make of that one. Looks like an indoor scene. Dot, dot, dot. And there's one of the triplet gym leaders. Just kidding. Not the same. Not the same guys. There's one of the Shadow Triad. In this castle, you may rest your Pokemon and access your PC. Fear not. First, you have your Pokemon rest in that room. When they are healed, it is our Lord N's wish that you be moved to the innermost part of this castle. That I be moved, huh? Sounds great. Oh, and it's these two. N's sort of sister figures who are not really explored beyond this. I am Anthea. Trainer, before you go to confront my Lord N, please take a moment to rest. Okay. Trainers battle to practice their skills and to grow in experience, but never to hurt their Pokemon. My Lord N has realized this deep down in his heart, but he has spent too much painful time here in this castle to admit it. There we go. Obviously, I know this story because I've played this game before, but if it's your first playthrough, it's starting to come together. And she's acknowledging that N... She's even saying that N has already changed his mind deep down. You know, that actually introduces a bit of a question mark on what N will actually do if he wins the final battle. Although the implication is strongly that that will be what he needs to convince him once and for all that he's right. The movement he's done so far, it seems, is really just making himself open to changing his mind, if things break a certain way. But she words it like he's already changed his mind, and that's very interesting. We'll never know that counterfactual, most likely. Although, hey, with the Pokemon multiverse being pretty well confirmed, it'd be a neat thing to explore in a future game, or some other spin-off material, just saying. I mean, Legends games are already doing a lot to expand the Pokemon world that we already know, but if ever they find room in the series for alternate timelines beyond the version differences that we already are used to, this could be an interesting one for sure. I am Concordia. I give peace and comfort to N. N has been separated from people since he was young. He was brought up with Pokemon. Pokemon that were betrayed, mistreated, and hurt by bad people. Getsis deliberately brought only those poor Pokemon closer to N. N was touched by their plight and started pursuing his ideals, thinking only of Pokemon. N's heart is pure and innocent. There's nothing more beautiful and terrifying than innocence. Damn, that's profound. And of course, once again, key backstory for N. If this is a blind first playthrough back in 2010, 2011, or more recently, if you picked the game up more recently and you don't already know that. I'm going to take a pause really quickly. I'm not going to pause the recording. I mean, I'm going to just take a second, get my phone out, look a couple of things up that I don't especially want to leave hanging before I press deeper into the castle. Six of the 7 sages have quoted proverbs from several Chinese philosophers. And yeah, it's all about these lines that they just spout at you in N's castle. It looks like some of them quote Chinese philosophers more than once, so probably that other dialogue when I talk to them, I would guess at least some of it comes from there. There we go, wise old men spouting philosophy at me. That's convincing, right? Maybe if they give it a little bit more context, although, hey, you know, the no two sovereign stuff, that's probably pretty on the nose. N is their king, and that's that. Wikipedia is not being super cooperative, but I also just want to check before I move on. Gorm, Gaelic for blue. Yeah, okay. Azula in Japanese, from Azul, Spanish for blue. I wonder what other names of those guys are different in Japanese. But let's move on for now, yeah? Anything back here? The same wall art? Oh, these two gave me a lot of information about how N can be such a nice dude, such a, let's be honest, flat-out good guy. And still be on what we're meant to agree is the wrong side. What the game really hammers into our heads is the wrong side, despite there also being themes about black and white morality. It works well enough. It gets a little bit weird at some points. It works well enough. And of course, a big thing is that it can be hard to divide the world into black and white when there are so very many different perspectives that all have something to share, which Sharon talked about back on the bridge. Anyway, we've been secretly building this castle for several years by overworking Pokemon that we took away without being noticed by anyone. Well, first of all, how does N not know that? But second, well, because he has his head in the clouds and he's busy journeying. Well, he hasn't been journeying for years. Where's he been? Probably in a forest or something, right? Whatever. I'm sure N pays like no attention to the logistics of Team Plasma. I questioned that for a second, but it actually holds up fine. But I wonder what side of the schism you're going to be on. Haha, we've been overworking Pokemon to work for us. Really subtle foreshadowing there of what Team Plasma is really about on some level, huh? Everything seems on the level here. Very subtle. Signs that something could be wrong, even compared to their stated mission. Everything is going perfectly as Getsis of the 7 Sages calculated and planned. He's been thinking about how he can manipulate people's hearts as he wishes. Maybe the reason we ran into so many grunts out in the field that seemed to actually sincere about caring about Pokemon and following N's mission is that all the grunts who are very open about not being so sincere about that have been hanging back working on the castle. You know, Getsis keeping them reined in. Not all of them. We saw that nonsense at the Dream Yard. We saw grunts running around that area just stealing Pokemon and kicking Musharna, but yeah, maybe some of the more just opportunistic criminal looking for a gang to belong to type Team Plasma grunts have been kept kind of out of the public eye working on the castle. And now they are coming out in force, that's for sure. The overworking Pokemon line is crazy if you don't know where this story's going. Look at that waterfall. What a nice castle. They did all that. Well, Getsus wants to rule the world from here. That's why they did all this, not just for this scene. Getsus intends to win. Ah, here's the PC. Aha! Now we can infiltrate the Pokemon storage system inside every trainer's PC. If our king wills it, we can steal every Pokemon stored in a PC box and release them all. Oh no, not my boxes. I got my Archeops in there, my Terrakion, 3 different Boldor. We're gonna have trouble if you try that. Our young wanderer, are you surprised? This castle is the hub of Team Plasma's. No, Getsus of the Seven Sages, scientific capability, a manifestation of knowledge. Notice how many... That one guy said if our king wins it. Notice also how many are giving credit to Getsus instead of N here. Feels very much like these are the parts of Team Plasma, again, that have a clearer idea of what's really going on and are more loyal to one side of things than the other. As part of his plan to take Pokemon away from their people, my Lord N entrusted some Pokemon to me. I've been spending time with them, and I don't think I want to let them go. I may not be cut out for Team Plasma. Aww. All that, and this guy's clearly on the sincere Analined faction. The sincere Analined side of things, who will still dress like knights in black 2 and white 2. The ones who really mean it and really want to do well. They're torn up inside by what they're steered into by the others. Poor guy. Onward. This Pokemon has become attached to me. As far as I'm concerned, a Pokemon is just a simple tool. I don't understand. Alright, well that's another layer right there. I don't need an item to catch Pokemon anymore. Nice, free Ultra Ball. I'll take it. Thank you. Oh, do you have anything else to say? Pokeballs, from my point of view, they are items that keep Pokemon confined, but for trainers like you, they are a way to bond with Pokemon. If you run out of Pokeballs, come see me, I'll give one to you. Okay, so that is to make sure I'm able to catch Reshiram, right? But also, this is someone who seems to be sharing N's perspective, but also see the other side. So you know what? There's a fair bit of nuance in the Team Plasma grunts as well. This one is the criminal on board with megalomania type, but starting to get conflicted because of forming a bond with Pokemon. Getting that healthy benefit without really wanting it and kind of confused. A lot of different kinds of grunts in here. It's a nice touch. Get these little interactions as we work toward the final battle. Will you go to the Pokemon League? I will not. The person would warp me back there. I do not want that. I've got work to do in here. Don't have time for the Shadow Triad, that's for sure. A battle between you and our Lord N will reveal whether our Lord N is an ideal hero. It will also reveal how you feel about protecting the current world, where people live with Pokemon. Okay, yeah, I understood that, thanks. I don't need you guys popping up everywhere. But here we go again. The Shadow Triad sure are overstaying their welcome. That room was the world that was provided to our Lord N. They don't really do anything. They just pop up, say things, sort of act like they did something, and leave. Fitting, I guess, for people working closely with a guy like Getsus, but... maybe some real-world parallels could be drawn there, but yeah, getting tired of them quickly. I don't feel anything, even when I go into the room, but you may feel something. So edgy. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. We got the dialogue from those other 2 characters who have known N since he was little. They very literally said a lot. This room figuratively says a lot too, doesn't it? Pure and innocent. Growth intentionally stunted by Getsus, so it's hard for him to see other perspectives. But a very bright guy who can manage it anyway. Certainly not a scheming, mustache-twirling villain. And is the hero. Well, a hero. He's just on a dark path. And I'm happy to do something about that. And I guess I'll yoink his rare candy. That feels a little bit weird. some empathizing with the guy. Really feeling for him in here. The game also encourages me to just take his stuff. An art panel with a printed geometric pattern. And loves geometric patterns. This toy box is full of new toys. Panel has a dart stuck in it. A dart board over there. Skateboard is resting on a pile of wheels. It's a set of trains and tracks. Has it been played with recently? Toy box contains pieces of a train set. Childlike innocence. And maybe there's something else that can be read into N's character. I'm no neurodivergence expert, despite having a diagnosis along those lines myself. So I'll leave that hanging. It's a home-style basketball hoop with a train in the hoop. How'd that get there? N, what did you do? The basketball that looks like it's been used a lot. It says Harmonia on it. Harmonia? First of all, N has good taste. He plays basketball. Good taste in sports. Harmonia, what could that mean? Anyway, back to this. I do love the background music in the castle. Nice to bring it back. This guy makes no sense to me. Somewhere far from here, Team Galactic and Team Rocket drew too much attention to themselves. That's why their plans were thwarted. That line has never made a lick of sense to me since my very first playthrough. In fact, I think I watched someone play through this game on YouTube before I played it through myself. Because again, I had a bit of a delay before actually getting the game. Team Plasma have been so much more in your face. Maybe not more. I mean, Team Galactic was also very public facing. And I guess they had their headquarters out in the open, which Team Plasma didn't until now. So that's... maybe you can say something like that for them. They definitely had people motivated to investigate them, like Cynthia and in Platinum Looker. So okay, talking that one through, maybe I can make sense of it. Team Rocket, they drew attention themselves. They wore uniforms and stormed places in force, but Team Plasma was out giving speeches. Team Plasma was out stealing Pokemon in the cities. Did they really draw less attention to themselves than Team Rocket? I don't think so. I think this guy has no idea what he's talking about. You let me know in the comments if you think that guy has any idea what he's talking about, because that has never made sense to me. But, hey, whatever you want to believe. Hope you guys don't get thwarted, too. What's in here? More grunts. If we use force to take Pokemon away from people, the people will rebel. But if we manipulate their hearts, people will release Pokemon voluntarily. Trainer who left Pokemon until yesterday will release Pokemon today. Tomorrow, another trainer will let Pokemon go. Yeah, okay. So I had sort of forgotten, as I said last time, I thought their plan was more like, have the legendary dragon, then we're so powerful no one can resist our command. Which I think is, you know, an option they're open to. Certainly it's the kind of thing Getsus would be into. I mean, Getsus wants to be so powerful because he and his followers are the only ones with Pokemon. That is his intention. That's probably why I had that in my head, because it is a real... as far as his scheme goes. But the public-facing plan, more public-facing, the thing N's on board with, I had forgotten, but we have relearned in this playthrough, is to so impress people by his heroism and command of the legendary dragon that some of the people are inspired to heed his words and do as he tells them. And then more people will follow suit, and more, and there will be a critical mass where everyone is pressured into letting Pokemon go. And wants to win hearts and minds. And, much as we talk about him being open to changing his mind and sincerely testing his beliefs on the battlefield, obviously winning the battle is also a fantastic propaganda moment for him if he can pull it off. A lot on the line here, truly the most epic clash in the entire main series of Pokemon up to this point. And I promise we are getting there. We're gonna go up some stairs yet again. This should now be the top level of the castle. There's nothing of interest over here, I'm just gonna improve it. Yeah, I feel like I've checked that in many a playthrough before I remember there's nothing of interest. Before I go in, what Pokemon do I want in the lead? A little counterintuitive, but I'm going to say Toronto. I can Leech Seed Reshiram. And I'm going to take Moose Jaw's item, the amulet coin, away for an undisclosed reason. Oh, look who it is. Welcome, holder of the Lightstone. A castle that appeared as if it were enveloping the Pokemon League is a symbol. It means Unova will change. The king of this castle is the strongest trainer in the world. He is accompanied by the legendary Pokemon. He has defeated the champion. Added to all that, his heart burns with the desire to improve the world. If that's not what makes a hero, what more do you need? Now that the stage is set, we can seize people's minds and hearts. We can bring into the world that we can bring into being the world that I know that Team Plasma desires more easily than you can imagine. We and only we will use Pokemon, and we shall rule the powerless populace. Alright, Mask really slipping there, gets us. I've been waiting so long for this. I've kept my silence so no one could piece together what I planned. Now those painful days are at an end. Yeah, so not even N could piece it together, am I right? Go, onward. Discover whether you have what it takes to be a hero. Getsus, I think, does not believe that Reshiram is going to show up. After all, it never has yet. Although he would have preferred, I think, that the other 6 sages stop me. But yeah, Mask really slipping there. I mean our plan is coming together, and we shall rule the world. Okay. Now this is a room fit for a climactic showdown. And on his throne. What I desire is a world for Pokemon and Pokemon alone. I'll separate Pokemon from people so Pokemon can regain their original power. It's time to settle this once for all. My determination is absolute. I'll prove the value of my beliefs even if it means my Pokemon friends get hurt. As you come this far, I believe we are equally determined. If that's so, prove it to me. Show me the depth of your determination. Big, long corridor room, in which, by the way, we will literally meet in the middle for this battle. This is such a... Team Plasma in-universe and Game Freak went out-of-universe, went nuts designing this area. But it's so fitting for where this story has brought us. It's a really nice, solid payoff to what I think might well hold up as the best story in the entire series. They did good work. Anyway, came out to battle me. Reshiram is not responding. You haven't yet been recognized as the hero, have you? That's disappointing. Actually, kind of liked you a little. There are many battles, like a feeling you may be a trainer. It truly goes for Pokemon. He shakes his head, no. But I was kidding myself. The idea of trainers getting to know each other through battles is ridiculous. You have 2 options. Challenge me to a fight you can't win, or leave this place and watch for the birth of a new world where Pokemon are free people. I have a Crocodile. I might be able to beat Zekrom anyway. But N's here for the Battle of the Dragons, and if I can't even call Reshiram forth, he is not changing his mind. Crazy how so much comes down to this. Zekrom, come to me. Now, unfortunately, these scenes with the dragons really make the most of the dual screens. You can see there on the top screen. Zekrom bursting in for battle. Powering up. Pale glowing blue. Evaporating the water in the room. Quite a show of power. Maybe having a crocodile is not enough for this one. I don't know, folks. Maybe it's doomed. Maybe I can't be the hero. Oh wait, what's this? The Lightstone? It's trembling inside the bag. Lightstone is... I mean, Reshiram is... Lightstone draws in the aura of the surroundings and converts it into a powerful force, which is now being released. There it is in all its glory. Very impressive entrance for sure. Definitely holds up. I don't have super strong design preference feelings between Reshiram and Zekrom. They're both pretty solid legendary designs. I did choose black all those years ago because I slightly prefer Reshiram. That is partly because it's a special attacker, which in my mind is cooler than a special attacker. I just think it's cooler to blast the opponent with beams and pulses and stuff than to just go and hit them. And the vast white flame, the blue flare aesthetic. Reshiram's design a little bit more for me than Zekrom's, but both are solid, powerful creatures. And finally, here they both are together. Zekrom and Reshiram. They're once one life, one Pokemon. Complete opposites yet the same. Zekrom and Reshiram are Pokemon that appear before the hero they recognize. Ah, I see. You really are a hero too. I'll tell you what that Pokemon is saying to you. Not to battle with you. Try to make me your friend and ally. I plan to test you to see if you're really pursuing truth. I also am curious to see how powerful you are. I catch Reshiram and make it your ally. Complete opposites yet also the same. Very true of these two, in a very literal sense. Kind of funny how often such things occur in real life. I don't really have a clever way to elaborate on that, but there's something to it. Bria! That sure looks like it's ready to breathe some fire at me. Maybe even blue fire. It's not at that high a level yet. The vast white flame arrives. I am, of course... Well, I'm leading with my starter. Bold choice, considering which starter I picked. But I am, of course, going with the Quick Ball first. And this being a boosted catch rate, mandatory legendary, Quick Ball might well do it. Let's see. Didn't work on either of the swords of, or on any of the three swords of justice. Didn't quite work on Reshiram either. To be honest, a Quick Ball is not super suitable aesthetically for Reshiram, so I was a little bit rooting against that, but I wanted to try it anyway. Rondo just gets wiped out. There will be no Leech Seed here. Let's try St. John's. Maybe I can get some Air Slash flinches. The nice thing, compared to some early generation legendaries, this doesn't have pressure. What it does have is a higher speed stat than my Tornadus, so there will not be any flinches. Maybe I can get a Sludge Bomb poison. But I think if it's just going to keep attacking like that, I don't think so. Oh, we get one Sludge Bomb off. It does poison. Alright, now I can throw Ultra Balls. Just do that. Probably some ball that would be fitting if I'd taken the time to buy it. But I just have Quick, Dive, Ultra, Timer, and Net, so Ultra it is. Didn't catch. St. John's drops. More pressing thing is gotta catch Reshiram before it drops, although I think if I fail, I'll just be made to try again. This game really wants us to have that showdown. You know who could take a Fusion Flare, probably? That's right. We get a few more cracks at this before we have to worry about what happens if I fail. And it's Reshiram. Probably not gonna fail. Well, that only shook once, though. Gotta say, Reshiram looks a bit less impressive when it's purple from being poisoned. Purple Reshiram, not quite as good. Especially that blue eye kind of blending into it. That didn't shake at all! What? I might be heading into new territory here, folks. If this doesn't catch it... I'm not sure I've ever failed to before. And not this time either, let's go. Made me sweat a little bit though. This Pokemon appears in Legends. It sends flames from the air. It sends flames into the air from its tail, burning up everything around it. Theme's the theme. What name will it be? I don't know what to do here. Alright. It breaks a pattern that's been running all series, but we'll give the game mascot the name that's on my draft league team. Halifax. And add it to my party immediately, of course. Goodbye, Moose Jaw. You did your best. You deserve a good rest. New fire type in town. Ah, I see. Retro moves scintillates power to the hero searching for truth. Has recognized your power. And now agrees to stand by your side. Hold on, your Pokemon are hurt. There's no triumph to begin battling a weakened opponent. Well, heals the team. It's of course going to be a 6-on-6 battle, not just the dragons. And here he is speaking with more edge. You can tell from that speech bubble. I think he's just shouting. But anyway. Now I will create the future I desire. That's supposed to be before me. Here we go. Final form of his team, final form of his battle theme. He and Zekrom have already done some serious battling together, so it's at a higher level than Halifax. I believe it also knows Giga Impact. But, one nice thing about having Reshiram, pretty sure my Dragon Breath is stronger. I also suspect the game wants me to go for Fusion Flare and be powered up by that Fusion Bolt, but that's never exactly been my first instinct here. That Dragon Breath does half, and it paralyzes because it's Gen 5, so electric types can still be paralyzed. Do I really think I can stop him with that? I kinda do, actually. That was the Battle of the Dragons, a little anticlimactic, but he still has 5 more Pokemon. Oh, you know what I have for this. Halifax is now the highest level Pokemon on my team. I think a certain someone, touch the Stone Edge, would like to take back the crown. Can I set up on this? My first instinct was just to attack, but Superior Sweep would be pretty fun and cool here, I'm just saying. Is that Stone Edge crit rate to worry about, but there's also that Stone Edge accuracy for N to worry about. Hey, you want to test your convictions in battle. What better move to roll the dice on than Stone Edge? There goes another one. 1 for 2 on connect, 1 for 3 on connecting with them so far. I think his convictions might not be strong enough. Guess that's what I'll say when I miss a Precipice Blades from now on. My Pokemon... not my Pokemon, my convictions were just not strong enough. Maybe I'll start saying that in my VGC videos, and you'll only know where it comes from when this comes out. In, I don't know, some weeks. Aqua Jet. Into +3 defense? That's a choice. Maybe he ran out of Stone Edges. I wasn't counting, but it's probably about right. Very likely taking the experience share away from Toronto after this battle, huh? Although that'll have to be end of the episode or next episode. I don't get that kind of agency for the rest of this one. Waterfall. Stronger than Aqua Jet. Sure is. If he has a full restore, you might want to use it, and then open me up to some nice Giga Drain recovery before he brings in a different Pokemon. Crunch, he showed all 4 moves. That would have been more useful than Aqua Jet from the get-go. Alright, let's see what I can get from this Giga Drain. Maybe he'll heal. He does have a full restore. I don't know whether this says Sturdy. I guess it doesn't matter if the Giga Drain doesn't KO it, the Leech Seed will. And that's easily back to full. Yeah, Sturdy, perfect. Well, more like it doesn't matter in this position. That's what I mean. Level 50. Take that experience share away, I think. Not interested in Ring Out. Don't even remember what that does, but definitely not interested. Vanillux. Pretty scary, but is it +6 Leaf Blade scary? And this is where Superior being actually pretty fast comes in handy, huh? Faster than Mousehold, if you watch my Reg H content. I was EVing for that at some points. This might be able to take a Leaf Blade, let's see. Oh, it's not Klinklang. Remains to be seen, but there goes a Zoroark. Kind of his other ace besides Zekrom. Here's the real Klinklang. And here's the real test. Takes one. Metal Sound. But his last Pokemon is Archeops. I don't really think that's equipped to take advantage of that. Level 51. Just running away with this ever since I gave him the experience share. Time to give it to somebody else. My last friend. Or, wait, that was Zen speaking. My last friend. Please share your courage with me. Oh, he gets to move first. He's faster. But that is into +6 defense. That still does quite a bit for +6 defense. Archeops is a scary Pokemon. But, there we go. The Battle of the Dragons. And then the starter Pokemon that he questioned so long ago. Taking care of the rest. Everything is ruined. Everything is ruined. The deals he had. That's it. They're gone. That was pretty decisive, too. If anything was going to change Ed's mind. ... Zekrom and I were beaten. Your truth, your feelings, they're stronger than mine, it seems. I go right up close for this moment. Pressure him and Zekrom. Each of them choosing a different hero. Is that even possible? Two heroes living at the same time? One that pursues truth, one that pursues ideals? Could they both be right? I don't know. It's not by rejecting different ideas, but by accepting different ideas that the world creates a chemical reaction. This is truly the formula for changing the world. A little simplistic, but he's onto something, and it's a good lesson. Now, of course, the game doesn't treat N like he's right, but of course he is in some ways, right? His care for Pokemon, his kindness to them. You can imagine that he can reimagine the relationship between humans and Pokemon once he gains some perspective in a way that is healthy for the broader world. Would be nice to see that explored, actually, in another game. More deeply, certainly, than it is in Black 2 and White 2. I think there's certainly room for them to show more ways that N's perspective had merit, but it certainly always had merit. He was never a bad guy. There were two heroes, just like he said. And now here's someone who's very much not a hero. After all that, do you think you're still worthy of sharing the name Harmonia with me? By the way, just thrown in out of nowhere. I mean, hey, that's the name that was on the basketball. There we go. Implied to be father and son, and that's their name. If you don't know, Game Freak actually revealed N's full name at some point. Let me make sure I get this right. Not revealed in a game, they just... I don't know, it was an interview or something. But, it doesn't really... It perhaps adds more questions than answers. Oh, and there's a long trivia section on Bulbapedia. Suppose that's not surprising. Anyway, his name is Natural Harmonia Gropius. So, I don't know what the deal with that is. I guess if anyone's name is going to be natural, it's this guy. We can move on. You think you're still worthy of sharing the name Harmonia with me? Oh, and of course, En's backstory is like... This scene strongly implies that they're father and son, and that's what we thought coming out of it. Somewhere along the way, Game Freak revealed or implied that Getsus found En in the woods or something, which leaves En's backstory still pretty murky. Some fans even believe that he's a Zoroark disguised as a human. A Zoroark disguised as human, capable of speech, not actually that crazy, shows up in at other points in this region. That said, I've never really been a believer in it myself, but it's an interesting fan theory. Game Freak certainly leave the door open to it. But the takeaway we get from this scene, they seem to be father and son. Some father, though. You good-for-nothing boy. To start with, I spurred En into pursuing ideals. The reason we reawakened the legendary Pokemon now is to give my Team Plasma more power. Power to control the fearful masses. That at least was well done. Yeah, Getsus is very much about, we have power, so obey us because you can't fight us. While En was fighting the PR battle. I even got taken in by that split somewhere along the way there, huh? At least my memory only remembered one side of it. Funny how that can work. You can get a little bit more perspective by coming back and exploring it again. After saying you had to put your beliefs on the line at battle to see which one chosen by the legendary Pokemon was the true hero, you lost to an ordinary trainer. There is such a thing as being too stupid. Added up and you are nothing more than a warped, defective boy who knows nothing but Pokemon. Black, I never would have thought the legendary Pokemon would choose a trainer like you. It caught me completely off guard. See? There we go. He didn't think it would really happen. He tried to undermine it, but also he thought he'd be fine because it would just fail. Oops. Oops, my bad. What a shame. This doesn't change my goal. My plans have not been disturbed. In order to rule this world utterly, in order to manipulate the hearts of people who know nothing, I will have En be the king of Team Plasma. But for that to work, since you know the truth, you must be eliminated. One could question what his plan is now that En knows what's up, because he just said it in front of him, but I don't think Getsus is really thinking rationally. I think he's just angry and lashing out and trying desperately to bring things back under his control any way he can. Rule the world? Wasn't Team Plasma's goal to liberate Pokemon? That was just a convenient lie that I needed to create Team Plasma. Use your head. What's to be gained from letting go of useful things like Pokemon? I gotta get my girlfriend to play this game. I just imagined what she would be saying to this guy right now, and it is colorful. Certainly, manipulating Pokemon helps people expand their possibilities. That much I can agree with. So it naturally follows that only I should be able to use Pokemon. You fool! That's a ridiculous idea. You can say whatever you want. A Pokemon, even if it's revered as a deity, is still just a Pokemon. Man, don't love that line, because from about Gen 3 on, fans went way too hard on the legendaries or deities thing. Oh well, guess it's appropriate to Reshiram and Zekrom, somewhat. They do sort of play that role in the lore of the story, don't they? But you probably know what I'm referring to, we don't have to dwell on it. Black, so what if it chose you? That doesn't mean you're a threat. Come on, now you'll face me in battle. I can't wait to see the look on your face when you've lost all hope. Black. Sorry, that's En speaking. Black. I won't allow anyone to stop me, no matter who does what. So, from one of the most kind-hearted, well-meaning, truly thoughtful, all-around great guy, all-around heroic figure antagonist in the series, we go to perhaps Mustache Twirler #1. I don't know what else to say. It is genuinely a tougher battle than N, but... Gotta deal with this guy. And I have an idea. Pretty sure I have more status healing items than he has toxic power points. Getsus may have bottomless reserves of toxicity, but can't say the same of his Pokemon. +2. +3. We're not clicking toxic anymore. Well, I suppose I could use a bit more recovery here. Does this Bouffalon have Sap Sipper? Actually, I think I just remembered that it does. Anyway, there goes that. Oh, and he's going straight to Hydreigon next. Alright, would have liked to set up more before this. Don't think we're getting the superior sweep, but this should still hurt. Faster. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think he'd be faster. I'm using a superior. Oh well. You gonna land all your fire blasts? Actually, you know what you probably don't one-shot, even though I'm sure you have a move for it. Let's not forget I got a restricted Pokemon a couple battles ago. Another Dragon Breath Para would be nice, that's for sure. Crit! Come on, my convictions are stronger than that. Pretty sure his Hydreigon knows Surf, but let's try this. That was a choice. That didn't do very much damage. And he was gonna land one eventually. This thing's actually a menace. This is way tougher than beating N, that's for sure. Oh, but you're not the only one who can click Focus Blast, my friend. Let's go. Honestly, if not for the symbolism of the legendary Pokemon, maybe Getsus would be powerful enough without N to subjugate the region. Good thing it doesn't work like that. Alright. Seems like my Pokemon are losing steam a little bit. I hope they're just having trouble aiming because they're so furious, so shaking with rage. That's certainly a choice into my Tornadus. Alright, well, let's take this slowly. compose ourselves. I think a super potion will do it here, right? I do have one. Anyway, I went for the superior sweep. Guess I should have figured it wouldn't be that simple, but don't worry, folks. The Unova region will still be just fine. There's the surf. He does have it. Pretty bold of him to just go straight for Focus Blast. Okay, if I just keep spamming potions through all 15 surf power points, it's gonna be annoying. I guess the alternative is sack St. John's and hope that... Could have missed that Fire Blast and I could have gone... I did click Focus Blast there. Oh well. Hope that Red Deer can handle it. Honestly, for its time, this is a very difficult in-game Pokemon fight, just because of this Hydreigon. For its time. It's not like it's Ultra Necrozma, but you know what I mean. I'm already down to my last Pokemon. Now it's a good one, that's for sure. Certainly a good one, but it's time to start using revives. That fire fighting water dragon coverage is just too much for so very much of my team. 5 Halifax. That just one-shots. Sorry folks, we're PP stalling. What can you do when the fate of the region hangs in the balance? He just missed more of these attacks. But you know what? Say what you want about Getsis, and there's plenty to say about him. He is, in many ways, a very unnuanced character in a relatively nuanced game. But while he's certainly no hero, and there's a reason he needed N to awaken the dragon, can't deny that his convictions are plenty strong too. And I guess that's part of the themes of the game too, right? There are multiple valid perspectives, but sometimes right and wrong exist too. N is a good guy with a valid perspective. Sorry, N is... I mean, yes, that's correct, but what I meant to say is N is a good guy with strong convictions. Getsis, very bad guy, must be stopped. Cannot deny the convictions behind those Fire Blasts and Focus Blasts. But I have a lot of conviction in my bag, so it'll be fine. I'm doing this kind of inefficiently. I probably should be baiting out a lot of Dragon Pulses. I'm not sure I have a way to do that reliably anyway. Like, reviving Reshiram and another Pokemon that baits out Dragon Pulse, but I'm not sure I have a way to do that reliably. Because he has so many other moves to click into so much of my team. And hey, if he would just relax his conviction a little bit and miss some of those Fire Blasts and Focus Blasts, things would be a little bit different. But this is how it goes sometimes. Good thing it's not a Nuzlocke anymore. That was a crit. I don't think it mattered. I've never seen a Pokemon that so believes in its work. And what work that is. This Hydreigon has to go. Oh, you know what I can do? If he's at the point where he's using Surf against Red Deer. I can be reviving Toronto instead. That can take a Surf. Fade out any remaining Dragon Pulses. Wonder how people actually Nuzlocke this part. I'm only interested in a Nuzlocke if I'm largely winging it and not hard preparing like the actual best Nuzlockers do. To me, that's where it gets boring. But I bet this Hydreigon has killed many a Nuzlocke that didn't specifically prepare for it. So, there's at least part of the answer to what Nuzlockers do here, I'm sure. Another crit. Not that he even needs them, but there they are. If battle tests are convictions, this guy's got way more than N. Although I guess that makes sense when we know that N was conflicted, and it was even strongly suggested that he had secretly changed his mind deep down already. I mean, that does kind of fit together, right? And battling in part to test his own beliefs. Perhaps will not battle as hard as if his beliefs are not actually so strong. And in fact, they're not. In fact, a lot of the work of changing his mind has already happened over the course of the story. And he just needs that final defeat to drive it home once and for all. It's nice. It's nice storytelling, I think. It earns that change of mind at the end. Because it doesn't really... Only in sort of the most direct, on-the-nose sense does it really happen then and not earlier. That might have been his last Fire Blast. He finally missed one. Are we seeing a crack? Perhaps not so strong-willed after all. Now then. Coil. 17 PP. So when I get to 11, I'll be a +6. You gonna crit me again? That's what I thought. +1. We're back to this. +2. Even though it's a special attack, I swear it looked like that Surf was doing less damage than the earlier ones. Just a low roll, I guess. Or, Gets' will really is showing some cracks. Ooh, that was a crit and still not enough. +3. The unstoppable force that is Gets' Hydreigon. Well, Gets' Hydreigon, which has done a pretty good impression up to now of an unstoppable force. Running into a green, leafy, snake-like, immovable object. Looks like I'm out of Hyper Potions. Oh, are you healing? Well, I only said I was out of Hyper Potions, I didn't mention anything else. +4. +5. +6. Here we go. It's not a Boufflant. This could have Giga Drained. Gotten back to full with a KO still. Not too worried about it. That's not a Boufflant. Am I misremembering? Is it Alder who has a Boufflant? To be honest, I thought they both did. Ah, there it is. Does Leech Seed work on Sap Sipper Pokemon? I don't actually remember. Maybe it does, or maybe he doesn't have Sap Sipper. Either way. No need to risk giving him an attack boost. I guess I'll just spam Coil until I run out of PP. I think he's used his full restores anyway, right? It's doing damage over time, though. Hopefully not enough. I'd like to not have to use another potion, but I do have the option. No idea how many PP Head Charge has. That is not a move I've thought about in quite a while. Boufflant might have been a cool catch in this playthrough, but didn't happen. Would have had to be, what, where I caught my sock? I think. Route 10? Unless it appears somewhere else. Might be on Route 9, I'm not sure. I think I caught a Poniard there. Anyway. Head Charge recoil might take it out now. Yep. Dude's definitely losing some resolve now. There's a Bisharp. Speaking of the Poniard family. That might take a +6 Leaf Blade, let's see. Nope. There's that crit I was wanting. Best starter in the entire Pokemon series, by the way. I think proven pretty soundly here. What? I created Team Plasma with my own hands. I'm absolutely perfect. I am perfection! I am the perfect ruler of a perfect new world. Now, N. Now, N, do you still think Pokemon and people should be separated? Mwahaha! Since I couldn't become the hero and obtain the legendary Pokemon myself, I prepared someone for that purpose. N! He's nothing more than a freak without a human heart. Well... that's obviously nonsense. Do you think you're going to get through to a warped person like that? Alder, it's a waste of valuable time listening to him ramble on. He is the one without a human heart. You're right, he's truly pitiful. N, I'm sure you have much to think about. I know you were not pursuing ideals because of Ghetsis' manipulation, but because your heart was really inspired. That is why you were able to meet the legendary Pokemon. I like what Alder's doing here a lot more. Earlier when he talked about N, the pathetic brat, I was kind of taken aback. Maybe he was just mad that he lost with such high stakes. That's kind of fair too, right? I like that as Ghetsis is just melting down because his narcissistic scheme has been foiled. Nobody's even talking to him. I mean, they had a line like, there's no point hearing him ramble on, but they're not speaking directly to him either. He's just not worth it. Maybe I should have taken their lead in that battle. And they're addressing N. And they're acknowledging, much as Ghetsis, because, okay, even I have given Ghetsis too much credit here. Right, he molded and manipulated N. He groomed N for this purpose. He did. N didn't get a fair shake as a trainer early on, but Alder calls it out correctly here. Even that is giving Ghetsis too much credit. Ghetsis set the wheels in motion, but N does in fact have a brain and a heart. In fact, he's a very thoughtful and considerate character. And he truly was inspired, and also he learned and grew in the course of his journey. Ghetsis gives himself full credit, claims that he's molded this perfect perfectly suitable being for his purpose. But of course, N is in fact a person with his own thoughts, desires, feelings, and a really good head on his shoulders, which he needs to overcome that start that Getsus gave him. But he always had agency, and his journey was never just about Getsus. And I think even I have not acknowledged that throughout the series as much as I should. So huge credit to Alder for bringing it to my attention. And very perceptive and thoughtful for his part there. But I have no right to be the hero. Is that so? What you and the legendary Pokemon are what you and legendary Pokemon are going to do from now on? That's important, wouldn't you say? Ah, and here's Alder's character really stepping up. Earlier he asked Charon, if you become strong, then what will you do? This is Alder, who of course has been champion for a long time. Been alive a long time. Been through some serious ups and downs in his Pokemon journey, to put it mildly. He asked Charon, when you become strong, then what will you do? And Charon didn't know the answer. And that set him on his journey to find actual meaning and value in what he does beyond just trying to be a strong trainer. Now N, at a low point, he became strong, but he was defeated. He put everything on the line and he lost. And here's Alder, imparting wisdom. Life goes on. What do you do now? What do you work toward? What are you about? N shakes his head for now, but N is very good at learning and growing. He'll be okay. Acting like you understand. Up to now, we've been fighting each other over beliefs. Despite that. Why? And even if we don't understand each other, that's not a reason to reject each other. There are two sides to any argument. That's a little simplistic. There are more than two sides to a lot of arguments. But I'll accept it as a good moral for the kids. Is there one point of view that has all the answers? Give it some thought. I mean, Charon said it earlier, there are as many perspectives as there are people in Pokemon. There are often a lot more than two sides to an argument. And I think we sometimes do ourselves a disservice by trying to boil everything down to two sides. There are often a lot of valid perspectives on something, and the right answers can be complex, and draw from a lot of different perspectives, or at least have to answer a lot of them. It's important stuff to think about through a lot of life. A lot of life. A lot of different areas. And I would say this story's tackling of that themes is not perfect, but it is pretty solid and way beyond what I expected from a Pokemon game the first time I picked this one up. I want to talk to you about something. Alright, let's go for a stroll. Enemies who didn't have to be, and now will not be anymore. It's about when I first met you in Cumula Town. I was shocked when I heard what your Pokemon was saying. I was shocked because that Pokemon said it liked you. It said it wanted to be with you. Yeah, that was the best starter in the game. What can I tell you? I couldn't understand it. I couldn't believe there were Pokemon like people. Because up until that moment, I'd never known a Pokemon like that. The longer my journey continued, the more unsure I became. I kept meeting more Pokemon and people who communicated with one another and helped one another. That's why I need to confirm my beliefs by battling with you. I want to confront you here. I needed that more than anything. The bottom of the stairs has looked a little awkward as we've moved around, but it's fine. Excellent throne room overall. There's no way a person like me, someone who only understands Pokemon. No, actually, I don't understand them either. No way I could measure up to you when you had met so many Pokemon. Or surrounded by friends. Oh, you're selling yourself short, Anne. All of us have a lot more understanding to do. Always. We're always learning, we're always growing, and you, Anne, are very good at those things. Pretty sure you'll be okay. The champion has forgiven me, and what I should do now is something I'll have to decide for myself. Head out into that light. Keep learning. Keep building understanding. Keep thinking. And feeling. It never stops. There's always more to learn. Black. You said you have a dream. A dream. Make it come true. Make a wonderful dream a reality and it will become your truth. Black. If anyone can, it's you. Well then. Farewell. A little bit idealistic at the end there. None of us in real life are Black, the silent protagonist, wonderfully in touch with Pokemon, seemingly by nature. There we go. Greatest anti-villain in the Pokemon series. A hero of ideals. Or truth, if you're playing the other version. Either way, it works. Jetting off on the back of a mighty dragon into tomorrow. His quest ended in failure that even he accepts was right and good. But after that, you keep going. Always more to do, always more to learn. Started with not a lot of perspective on the world. Has traveled, has met people, has built perspective, has built understanding. Always more to learn, always more understanding to build. Always more truths and more ideals to chase. And a clearer picture to form over time, and sometimes not. Sometimes the picture gets less clear. Sometimes the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. But always work to be done on just how to pursue those truths and ideals. What that looks like, what they look like. On and off we go. To the next adventure. Sort of, not quite yet. This is obviously not the end of the playthrough. There's a lot of post-game actually to check out in this game. I'm gonna have to probably sit down and write out some of the things to do in the post-game so that I don't forget some. Don't know that I'll get to absolutely everything anyway, but there's a big chunk of the region that I haven't even seen yet in this playthrough. There he goes. There we go. Saving the game. The end. But not really. Still a lot of Unova to see. In fact, our guy Black is still not even the champion yet. Not even really in the Hall of Fame. I mean, the Hall of Fame is going to show first game clear, but, you know, not a proper Hall of Famer. So there's more to do. And we'll be right back next week to see yet more of what the beautiful, complex Unova region has to offer. See you then.